So, let's recap. 500 days ago to day 1 when I found an island that was all sand, also in the shape of India, but I didn't know that at the time. It had no crops, well, if you ignore the sugarcane. It had no animals, again, if you ignore the turtles, and it had no wood, if you ignore the bamboo that I spawned myself in, or the shipwreck off the side. I've really messed this up, didn't I? But I was determined not to just survive, but to thrive. I began growing my bamboo, making plenty of wood, getting plenty of tools, the basics like fish and carrots. I slowly started improving my gear with iron, making tools, finding diamonds, making a home, a bed. I started farms, exploring the nether, fortresses to collect blaze rods. I made diamond tools, I made diamond armor, before totally not breaking the main rule of the Survival Island challenge and left to go and find the stronghold. I got a zombie villager and cured him. No, it wasn't Nitwit, but we ignored that bit. I made a full level 30 enchant settle. I was able to use that to get enchants like looting. I went wither skull hunting where I was able to get 3 wither skulls. I made full diamond, killed the ender dragon. I searched the outer ends of the end to find an elytra. I was also able to get myself full netherite armor, and to finish off my 100-day adventure, I was able to kill a wither and make myself a full powered beacon. And that is what I thought would be the end of it. Until 200 days begun, and oh boy did we learn a lot, like the spawning of golden apples, or that moss can be bone meal to get seeds. Like, why do you guys all know that, seriously? I set up a storage shack and started organizing my gear. I was able to get some new saplings in from a wandering trader. I got a new zombie villager, which meant I now had the 2. I made them a brand new home. At that point, Minecraft added armor trims into the game, so I went into the nether, found some in a bastion and added it to my armor. I set up a semi-automatic crop farm and started breeding the villagers. I then started trading enough emeralds to be able to make myself a second beacon just using emeralds. I claimed 3 more wither skulls before making myself the second beacon. I set up a nice fancy bridge to a nearby grass island. I got myself a turtle helmet which I fully enchanted before getting the new trims from the end. And that was the end of it. Until 300 days, let's begin. Let's start by making ourselves a mob grinder. After that, I'll find myself in a new stronghold, doing it legitimately this time by digging to it. I began collecting every armor trim that was in the game at that point. During that time, I was able to get myself the new cherry tree blossom. I also set up myself an automatic bamboo farm. I found an ancient city and got the new trimmings in there. I started mining every diamond under the sun. I made myself an iron farm and began trying to mine even more netherite than I had, before finding a new bastion and getting myself the brand new netherite upgrade. And with all of that done, I made myself a monument to display all the brand new fully netherite trimmed armor. I made a new home to some chickens I was able to collect, and that really was the end of it. Until 400 days, baby, let's go. So let's make ourselves a trident farm and then get ourselves a trident. I began collecting all of the mob skulls that I could, including the incredibly rare piglin head. I made myself a head monument and got them all in there. I upgraded my original house that I made the first 100 days, and I also made a village trading hall to trade books. I got myself 3 more skulls and killed yet again another wither, made 1 more beacon because I don't have enough of those already, and that really was the end of it. So I made Dr. Havenhand an office. I made a better looking statue to the dragon head. I found a brand new ancient city and found the even rarer silence trimming. I got even more netherite to be able to make myself a full set of netherite armor to put that on. Of course, I added that to the armor stand. I then made a bunch of smaller islands with all the new saplings that I was able to obtain. I made myself an auto melon farm. I made a dock and some boats on the edge of my island. I made some pixel art in the honor of the best disc in Minecraft. I then made me. Yes, of course that makes sense. Why are you questioning it? I started making myself a melon platform, keyword being starting, but then I reached the end of day 500, and that, my friends, was only just the beginning. Oh man, what a nice subversion. Hello everybody, how are you all doing? My name is Haven, and if you've never watched one of my videos before, I hope you like the recap. Welcome to the last video I will do in this world, my most popular series ever, 100 days in 1.20 Survival Island. I've done 100 to 500. Today is 501, and I have 499 days to go to successfully, complete the title of the video, surviving 1,000 days in hardcore Minecraft. Just by looking at this island, you can already see how much I've done. It's an insane amount of of work. Everywhere you look, there is something on this island, and that's crazy. So a couple of things I want to talk about before I jump into it. Number one, the seed. Oh my god, here we go, the seed. Everybody wants the seed to this Minecraft world. I promise I will give it, but I don't even know what the seed of this Minecraft world is. I knew a long time ago when I got the world, but yeah, the seed, I promise at the end of this video, I will give you the seed to this world, and you guys can make your own videos on this world, and I'd love to see some of your videos, but we'll talk about that a little later. Secondly, I have so many big plans. This is going to be one of the most daunting tasks I'm ever doing because of how much work it's going to take, but I'm all for it. I mean, 500 days in one video is going to probably be a very, very long video, considering each one of them is over half an hour, each 100 days per video, and I'm doing 5 of them, so if you're telling me this is going to be over 2 hours, so strap in, get some snacks. But yeah, we have so many different things to do, so many things to build, or try and accomplish, or everything like that. You know what, let's just get right into it then. Start on day 501. The first thing we're going to look at is that pesky mob grinder. Here we go again. So I don't remember exactly which video it was, maybe 200, maybe 300 days, but I built this, and I never was able to get it to work, and a lot of people in the comment section have come and they basically told me that I made mistakes with it here or there, and I've done my best to follow pretty much every instruction that people have given me. I use slabs, which I've now replaced. I've done everything I can. It just never worked. My argument is because of all the caves underneath that are unlit. That's why there's too many areas around for stuff to spawn. Everybody else seems to believe that there's a different particular reason. The last thing I keep seeing people saying to why this isn't working is because in here, I didn't put trapdoors down where the drop is. Sorry to burst your bubble, people. There has been trapdoors in here for the past 100 days. Unfortunately, I just forgot to show it, but this has been here for the past 100 days, and this thing still doesn't work. So I'm sorry to say, people, this is just not going to work. It is unfortunate because it could have been very useful, but yeah, this just doesn't work. I don't know why. I just wanted to show people that to make sure that I'm not ignoring them. I read all the comments, I promise you. I'm not trying to do it for more views as people have accused me of doing it. This just doesn't work simply because there's too many caves underneath. That's causing mobs to spawn. That's the reason why this isn't working. Are we done with the mob grinder now? I'm officially done with the mob grinder. I've been tempted to take it down. I'm not going to lie. Anyway, moving on. And so on day 502, I created the classic Havenhand to-do board. I mean, it can't be that classic since I haven't made one in a while, but you get the point. It's just a way for me to write everything down that I want to do between now and day 1000. But what are these crazy tasks that I'm wanting to do? Well, my friends, I think we need to get the experts in here to explain it. Oh, like I need to give him an introduction. Wow, 1000 days. We did it, peeps. I'm gonna get paid. So when we began on day 501, I set myself 9 challenges, all of which will definitely take a lot of time, but all of which I'm fairly confident that I'd be able to do. Let's quickly run through them. Firstly, at the end of the 500 days video, I began working on a melon castle. At this point in time, I only had the platform completed since I ran out of time, so I will want to finish that by the end of this video. I thought it would be cool to see how many advancements I'd be able to get between now and the end of the video as well. I know I won't be able to get all of them, but as many as I can would be cool. The villager house is definitely a little bit cramped, and I really wanted to improve their bases. I mean, they have been complaining enough about it. So what I'm wanting to do is to basically make my own villager city of sorts, basically create their own island for them all to live on, so they no longer have to live in a, what, 10 by 10 house? Yeah, it might be better for them. I also think it would be kind of cool if I can get a monorail kind of deal set up on the island. I'm not exactly 100% sure what I mean by that, but I'll add it onto the to-do board for the time being. And the final 4 tasks require context. For the past 500 days, barring the one time I left to go to the stronghold, I've never left the island. Yes, I've technically caved and gone to new dimensions, but I've never gone more than 100 blocks outwards from my island on the surface in the overworld. And last time I asked you guys if it would be okay for me to search the oceans of this world. To clarify, I wouldn't be allowed to search any lands, but any body of waters would be okay. And the best way I could say the response to that question was, well, for every one person that said I shouldn't be able to do that, there was at least 100 more saying that it would be fine. So if you have a problem with this ruling, then you can blame the commenters of the last video. But from this point onwards, I'm allowed to leave the island to search oceans, but only oceans. I'm not allowed to enter any other piece of land, any other structure, or anything like that. It's just the water and what's inside the water. I imagine flying over the lands with an elytra is okay on the condition that I don't actually step on the lands itself. At least that's how I was able to find more oceans, by flying over them. And with this new ruling, it does give me some new options. Firstly, I want to get myself a sniffer egg. I can't really get a camel, so I'll have to settle with the new mob of the Survival Island series being the sniffer. After that, I want to see if it's possible for me to get the brand new 7 pottery shards. I want all of them, and I didn't think that one would be too hard. And finally, the last 2 tasks, though I will go into more details a little bit later, I should be able to get 2 more trimmings now that I can search the ocean. Meaning my pink house of loveliness may need to be tweaked a little to fit them all in, but that is the 9 tasks that I am wanting to get done. Pretty simple, really. It'll just take me a lot of time to do. All right, let's get on. I began day 503 by making as many fireworks as possible before heading out into the world. For those who didn't see the 500-day video, I did actually find myself a ruins towards the end of that video, so I'm going to go and see if I can find that again. I also found myself a shipwreck where, well, that was easy. Also, it may have taken 503 days, but I got potatoes! That is crazy. Anyway, after checking the ruins, I'm going to be honest with you, there wasn't really anything here, but I did get my first shard, so that was a good start. After searching around more on day 504, I found myself an ocean monument. I decided not to check it out just yet. I might want to get water breathing potions for that one, and hey, there's literally a second one right over here as well. That's pretty cool. I did also find 2 ruins over here, but neither of them had suspicious sand. That made me think that this area would have been preloaded from, I assume, some caving trips, and so I decided to head further out to see if I could find myself some fresh ruins. I really don't need this flesh. Oh no, my sword! On day 505, I was able to find myself a new ruin, and this one did actually have some suspicious sand in it. I was able to get myself 2 more pottery shards. You never know, it could have been more, but I did accidentally break a couple of suspicious gravels like a smart person would. And then on day 506, I decided it was time for me to quickly return home. I put away the stuff that I had found so far, trying to remember when my brewing stand was. Did take me a second, but I did end up finding it. I grabbed the necessary stuff that I needed, and then I started brewing away. Took myself a nap at the same time. Sure, why not? And on day 507, with the potions brewed, off we go. When I did get to the monument, well, I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody knows what happens here. We murder ourselves some elder guardians. Weirdly enough, I found some suspicious sand here. Now, I'm fairly confident that monuments can't spawn suspicious sand. I think what happened was a ruin spawned inside of the ocean monument, which I thought was kind of cool. Could be wrong, though. Also, let me point out that despite the fact that I am full netherite armor with protection 4 on everything, these elder guardians, they do damage. Anyway, 3 elder guardians later, and sadly, there was no trim. Hey, at least there was that second monument over there. 3 more elder guardians, and still no trim. I was still exploring the oceans on day 508. I did get myself a new pot shard from this ruin over here. Also, quick side note, I have very recently been informed that they're called pot shards, but I think we can all agree that that sounds really dumb, and I'm not going back through literal pages of script just to change the word shard to shard, so you know, get over it. And searching more ruins on day 509, not only did I get myself a couple more shards, but I was able to get a sniffer egg. Smells interesting. Why are you smelling it? I also got myself a new shard. Wait, no, never mind, I already had this one. I did get myself a second sniffer egg, which I'm pretty sure is quite rare to find 2 in the same ruin, but hey, we move on. For the time being, I was done searching ruins, so I decided to head back home. It is also worth noting that I did pass an outpost and a jungle temple along the way, but as agreed, I'm not allowed to search them. I ain't a rule breaker, even though it is very, very tempting. Oh, hey, I'm home. Look at that. On day 510, I counted the pot shards that I had. I had 6, and there is 7, so of course, I am 1 short. Anyway, I duplicated the trims. I just need some diamonds for some diamond armor. Though I did spend a couple of minutes looking inside the trimming house to see if I could find a good location to put the new trims in. After figuring that out, I decided that mining diamonds wasn't really something I was wanting to do at this point, so let's just trade for the diamond armor instead. I was able to upgrade a armorer villager that was able to give me full diamond armor, but I didn't have enough emeralds to complete the trades needed. Luckily, I made a second armor that trades iron, and I have all the iron in the world, so this should be pretty easy. At least I believe so on 511. Here, let me just quickly run over to the iron farm, and oh, so I do. Should have done this ages ago for the record. A couple of trades later, and the helmet was done. A few more trades, and we are completely done. Now I just need to go and get myself some netherite armor, and so it was time to go into the nether once I sort out my food. It's been a while since I triggered the semi-auto farm. On day 512 into the nether, we went to pick ourselves up some ancient braid. Now I need to get myself the equivalent of 2 full sets of armor, so that means I need 4 ingots. Here's a couple of highlights of me just mining some ancient debris. I'm gonna be honest with you, it took a little longer than expected, but we was able to be completed by day 519. I got back home and started cooking on day 520. I grabbed myself some gold, made myself the ingots, went AFK, sure. And 20 minutes later on day 521, I came to the realization that I don't have any upgrades, and so I'll need at least 28 more diamonds to complete this task. You know, it's annoying, but I'll be honest with you, I prefer being forced to do this than just being able to do it naturally. I feel like it just adds more to the game. To be fair, it wasn't too bad. I mean, the first vein of diamonds, thanks to the fortune, gave me 11 diamonds, so I was basically halfway done there. And it was only the next day on day 522 where I found myself another vein that got me 20 diamonds. And the final vein got me a grand total of 38 diamonds. So yeah, definitely enough. When I got back on day 523, I only had lapis as a trim color unless I changed up one of the armor sets and actually add a netherite trim, which I decided to do. After a little bit of faffing around, which included me swapping where exactly the armor trims were, I was done with the armor trims. I can say, theoretically, I have got every single armor trim that I can get without being able to search the island, which, you know, is definitely an impressive feat. But in case you don't believe me, let's quickly check in the expert. So, as of right now, I have the End City trim, both Ancient City trims, the Ocean Monument trim, the Nether Fortress trim, the Shipwreck trim, the Stronghold trim, and I am wearing the Bastion trim. That is 8 out of the possible 16 trimmings you can get in Minecraft. The other 8 that you can get in the game all require land access. One of them you can get from a desert temple, a pillager outpost, a woodland mansion, a jungle temple, and the other 4 can be found in suspicious gravel, which was the main reason I actually asked to search the ocean, but these particular suspicious gravels can only spawn in trial ruins, which yet again require land. So I still think I've done an impressive job to get 8 full trimmings and basically all of them full netherite, so yeah, we'll just have to settle with 50% here. I realized that 500 plus days in on 524 and I still get a lot of enjoyment by just replanting the crop. The semi-auto farm admittedly isn't great. I've made much better versions in newer videos, but I still like it as a first attempt. After that, I was just wandering around. I'm not really sure what I was doing. I did have a good look at the 500-day map, which yeah, definitely looks good. On day 525, after making a couple of adjustments to the to-do board, I started looking at advancements, what I would be able to do and what I wouldn't be able to do. The one that caught my eye was the rare trimmings one. I was so close to being able to get all of them, but unfortunately, I'm not able to get Vex or Wayfinder, so unfortunately, can't do that one. I was actually surprised with how many I should be able to get here. Like, eating every food, most of them could be done if you ignore the actual animal foods that you need to get. In theory, I should now be able to get every cat as long as they spawn at the village. Though once I did notice the pottery one, I remembered that I need to actually make the pottery stuff at last. I am missing one though, and after having a quick look around, I found out that I am missing the Plenty Shard, which can be found in Cold Ocean Ruins. And so I quickly grabbed my fireworks again and remembered a bed this time and headed out into the world. On day 526, I found myself a brand new Cold Ocean Ruins. I forgot to bring the brush. 527 and it feels like I was just here. Anyway, let me go ahead and make a couple more fireworks before heading out again. I found a new ruins on day 528 and had to deal with a little bit of a drowned infestation. Nothing too bad though, but on my second suspicious gravel, I got myself the Plenty Shard. Let's head home. It's always funny that the first thing I see when I fly back every single time is the Among Us thing. I don't know why. Day 529 and I decided to make the pot straight away. Not like it matters at all, but I put all the cold pottery shards together and all the warm pottery shards together. It makes no difference whatsoever, but to me that's very satisfying. I also will never forgive the man that decided that only making 7 pottery shards rather than 8 was a good idea. Like, seriously? Now where am I gonna put these bleeders? I don't know. I ended up deciding on the boat because sure, why not? And we can finally clear up the board. Next up, let's make Sniffer Island. And so on day 530, let's get to work. It's crazy how good Swift Sneak is. Like, it makes this so much easier. I am literally flying around. I've done this a few times now, so it was pretty easy enough to just basically remake it. I also had the perfect amount of dirt needed to fill in the island that I made, which was completely accidental. By the end of the day, I had the top and the sides of the island completed. Nice. Anyway, I connected the bridge to King Pedro's Island. Don't worry, he said it was cool. And with the bridge done and the grass in, I of course added some lanterns and the sniffer eggs were down. And before any of you say it, I am fully aware that they hatch faster on hay bales. I just don't care. Not like I'm in a rush to do, you know, anything. I also remembered on day 532 that I have Oak Tree Island. And well, I was wanting to get bees at some point, so I want to have a quick look to see if I could get them. Oh wow, I picked up an apple. I'm literally getting PTSD from just holding this thing. Well, I replanted the trees, hoping to get myself some buzzy bees. Yeah, they're round. I decided that whilst I'm waiting for the sniffer eggs to hatch, I'm going to unclog some of the auto farms. Let's start with the iron farms. Just so much iron, it's kind of crazy. And also, look at how much bamboo I've got. Also, a decent amount of melons, I must say. You know what I realized on day 533? In any normal video, I would be about 33% done. In this case, I'm closer to about 6% done, so isn't that nice? And now we watch gosh, the sniffer eggs. I wanted to actually get myself footage of them hatching, and it did take most of the day, but boy 1 was able to hatch, and straight after, boy 2. On day 534, I decided let's tick off some of those advancements. I thought at the start, you know what would be really easy to do? Bullseye. It'll only take me a couple of seconds, you know, just get the bullseye, and then we'll be good to go. At least that's what I thought. And then, after many shots later, I didn't get it. Of course I didn't. And after spending about 2 seconds trying to get it on day 535, I decided to give up and do something else. How about we try and get the advancement Caves and Cliff? If you don't know, basically you have to land in a water source from the sky limit, but that water source has to be at the lowest point in bedrock. So it was a simple case of digging all the way down to bedrock, and then I got to fly up all the way to the top, and then I started building up to the top, but unfortunately for me, I ran out of blocks, so I had to fly all the way back down, and then I went to go and grab some blocks before flying all the way back up. And then I got all the way to the sky limit before I dropped down and landed the walker and get myself the advancement Caves and Cliffs. It was really easy enough. So I made a mistake on day 536. I wanted to go check if any beehives had spawned. The simple answer was no, but I was hearing a skeleton below me, and while the footage speaks for itself, it was not my brightest moment. Had to quickly fix that. I also decided to go and get the advancement You Need a Mint. That does require me to respawn the dragon, and so it was back to the nether and back to the end. I mean, it was really simple stuff. I got the advancement pretty much straight away, and I dealt with the dragon with ease. The only real advantage of killing the dragon again was using the XP. I was able to fix all my gear, so hey, that's good. Right then, what's next? Sniper's Duel. Hey, that's pretty simple. And the best part is that there was a skeleton in the mob grinder, so I just quickly opened it up, got enough blocks away, and a couple of shots later, it was done. For the first time in the series, the mob grinder has actually been useful. Alright then, bullseye time. It is round 3. I am 3-0 down. Alright, I really didn't want to do this on day 538, but there is actually a way to rig the bullseye advancement, which is a little bit cheaty, but I can't get it otherwise. Basically, what you could do is you can put a trapdoor on top of the target block, and then lead a redstone thing to go about 30 blocks away, and if you put arrows on top of the trapdoor, move 30 blocks away, and then trigger it, the arrows will drop on top of it and actually give you the advancement. I really didn't want to do that, but I mean, I spent 3 days doing it. Give me a break. And next up, I decided to deal with a couple of trident ones. The only problem is that for all of them, I needed lightning, and by the looks of the sky, I don't think there's going to be any rain anytime soon. So let's take a break from advancements for the time being. I decided to check how many melons I had, and crazy enough, after collecting them all, I had exactly 5 stacks of blocks, which I thought was kind of cool. And so on day 538, I started putting the melon castle together. The first thing I had to do was actually even out the platform. I accidentally made it 2 blocks short on one of the sides. And 5 stacks down, there is so little done. I am gonna need so many melons. It's actually kind of crazy. There is also this one advancement where you literally need to spawn an iron golem. Not like I already have an infinite amount of them already. And though I have the pumpkin seeds, I've never actually gotten myself a pumpkin this entire time. So let's quickly plant them in the sniffer aisle and just, well, wait for them to grow. I also got both of the new sniffer plants that you can get from the sniffers, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not really sure what either of them do, but well, here they are. There's the sniffer plants. On day 540, and you know, sometimes I like to look at the first 100 days map and just remember that I started all of this with just a single piece of bamboo. I feel like I've done some crazy things with that accomplishment alone. In fact, this day was kind of just a lot of remembering the armor stand, Dr. Havenhand's classroom, Big Me. That's good times. To be honest with you, I was just killing time until the pumpkins grew, which unfortunately never happened. Whilst I'm doing that, I may as well unclog the iron farm again. So for the most part, it was pretty much waiting around, but sadly, I didn't get any pumpkins. I decided on day 541, instead of waiting around, let's just do stuff. I'm very glad I picked up a lodestone all that time ago, so this is another advancement done. And for the time being, I think I'm done doing advancements. I felt like occasionally swapping my tasks would make it less likely to get burnt out on this world, at least in my head, that made sense. And so after going back to the board and having a look at my options, honestly, there wasn't too much that I wanted to tackle at the moment, though I was able to add on a couple of more things that we'll definitely do later as well. In fact, the next day, I literally was looking around the island to make sure I had everything I wanted on the to-do board just to add for it. Basically seeing any extras I wanted to do, just make sure I have everything written down so I don't forget anything. I had a grand total of 1 thing. I want to add a second boat to the dock. And then even later in the day, I came up with 2, so that led me with 4 ideas extra in total. But the big task that I saw that I decided that I wanted to get out of the way was the fact that I wanted to make a multi-layered beacon. Iron at the bottom, then gold, then diamond, then netherite. I originally wanted to make a full netherite beacon, but I know that I don't have enough time, but that's just crazy. Come on, guys. I thought it would be funny to put it on top of my head, you know, the giant head that I've got, and so I began putting it on there and basically measuring it out. The only thing that's worth mentioning is that it's an even number, which means I'd have to make it 10 by 10 at the bottom. It also means that I would need 4 beacons at the top, which means I have quite a lot of work to do to get this done. If the beacons wasn't enough, I'd also need 12 blocks of netherite. Yes, you heard me, blocks. 36 blocks of diamond and 64 blocks of iron. Lucky for me, though, I need 0 blocks of iron because I have that all already. Yay, I guess. It kind of looks dumb without the rest of it, doesn't it? So I decided to bite the big bullet first and go netherite mining. Well, I wouldn't even want to do this myself. Like, I'm looking that I'm the thinker and Haven's the doer because this is crazy. Anyway, I'm just here to tell you the maths of actually getting the netherite blocks needed. 12 netherite blocks is actually much more complicated than it sounds. For every block of netherite, I need 9 netherite ingots, meaning that I need 108 ingots to make the 12 blocks in question. Because you need 4 ancient debris to make 1 ingot, that means I need to get myself 432 pieces of ancient debris to complete this task. To round that down, that's 6.7 stacks or 6 stacks and 14 pieces of ancient debris just for these 12 blocks. Great news though, I already have 2 pieces of netherite scrap. So yeah, I don't know how this is the second time I've gone netherite hunting in the first 50 days, but let's just mine away and hope for the best. 6 days later, day 550, and honestly I was doing pretty good. I had 47 pieces of ancient debris down, which was honestly a pretty decent start. Sadly though, I was down to my last carrot, and so I decided to head back. I don't want to starve out here, and so I got back, set off the cooker, and I took a comfy nap. Hey, Future Haven here. I actually forgot to include in the script that I got the ocean monument trimming. I don't know when exactly that happened, but here's a clip of me doing it on the correct day. Shout out to my editor Gray for figuring this all out. They're a legend. And so on day 551, after reloading the food, I grabbed the scraps. With these scraps, I only need 6 stacks and 1 scrap to go, so I'm gonna be there in no time. And well, there was no time like the present, so I made sure my pickaxe had some good durability. And listen, my journey to 1000 days is gonna take a very long time, and I want to show you as many days as possible, but unfortunately at this point there is going to be a lot of netherite mining, and so I'm just going to go ahead and skip those days because let's be honest with you, nothing is really different between the days themselves. Everybody okay with that? Everyone cool? Cool. Anyway, 8 days later, day 559, and I got myself a stack of netherite, and I really needed a break from netherite mining, so I decided to head back. I need to also quickly fix my pickaxe though, so I'm going to mine some quartz. By the time I got back on day 560, I realized that hey, it was thundering. It was the perfect time to get the 2 advancements that I needed. Sorry, villager guy, I'm sure you won't be that useful. And now I can take a quick nap to skip the next day. Throwing out the netherite on day 561, and I realized that I'm always wasting a lot of netherite. I should definitely save it, but nah, too late now. And with the netherite cooked, I only need 349 netherite scraps to complete this, or 5 stacks and 25 debris to go. So yeah, I need a break. I'm not about to do that. And the villagers, they're just getting louder with the complaints, so I guess it would now be time for me to actually build them a new home. Now, did I have a plan on what I was going to do to actually make the village for them? Absolutely not. But what I will do is I'll just start making a nice ring out of quartz, and then we'll just take it from there. By the time I had the ring done, it was night. And then it was to the interior of the ring. I decided to just use some cobble slabs. Unfortunately, the ring was quite big, so this was definitely going to take a minute. However, with the beacon and swift sneak, it definitely was going to be quicker than it normally would be. I had it finished by the next night, night 563. Took a while, but we got there in the end. On day 564, and I finally have a new use for acacia wood. Fences. Like, guys, please don't complain that I'm using orange fences. It's not that bad of wood. Actually, I've kind of grown to like it. Who am I kidding? It's the internet. Anyway, I got the fences around on the ring. Definitely overestimated how many fences I'll need. And then I went to the villager house and started counting out how many beds was, and then was going to work out how many houses I was going to make. I counted a grand total of 35 beds, and I thought that if I just make myself 18 houses and put 2 beds in them, that would be quite nice. Now, let me be clear before I begin. These won't be 18 of the best houses you'll ever see, but they are going to be houses for them to live in. So I guess it's now time for a classic building montage. And though it's not complete, here we are. So I ended up, instead of doing 18 houses with 2 beds, I have done 12 houses with 3 beds, and then just got some extra beds. So there's all these houses are filled with 3 beds. Is the design good on them? No, not at all. I mean, they'll get them more space, so they shouldn't complain that much. So this is pretty much where they're gonna live, and then over this side is where like the jobs are. At the moment, it looks really basic. I'm not fully done, but I just want to get like the basics done, and then come back later and make it more fancy. But for now, this is what we've got. One thing I kind of underestimated is I have no idea how I'm going to get them over here. I really didn't think that one through. Anyway, let me go ahead and try and figure that one out, and we'll take it from there. After setting up the customary bamboo bridge, I decided the best way to get the villagers over there was minecart. So I set up a temporary track leading from the new villager area to the old villager house. And so on day 573, I tried to set this up, and I'm going to be 100% honest with you, this was a bloody disaster. They wouldn't get close to the track, so I tried to put water down to push them closer, which definitely worked, but then they clogged up the tracks, which just, oh my god. And then I was able to get some of them through, but the tracks weren't correctly, so they were falling off the edge because they were stuck in the minecart. They were now drowning. Now I just have a bunch of dead villagers, and what's even worse is the ones that did survive are now like out and basically running around like they own the place. This was honestly awful. I only began having some success on the next day 574, but it was incredibly short-lived because now when I was able to get them through for one reason or another, they were now coming back. Basically what was happening over here was the minecarts were landing on top of each other, and they were clogging the top of the track, so this wasn't working either. I did actually come with a very simple solution. If I put a water bucket down here, it should push the minecarts along. It's very simple, but hey, it worked. But with that water bucket, it was finally coming together. I just have to occasionally go down there and unclog them, and honestly, this was good to go. I kept going on day 575. It was mostly fine, and honestly, this was just more annoying than anything, but after learning the basics on how to do this, I very quickly picked up the pace. At least until one flew back, and I started getting really concerned that I messed something up, but I guess I just got unlucky because one got stuck at the end. I don't know how this happened, but I'm not complaining because it was really easy to fix. And with the last villager sent through, I can now clean up the minecart and get rid of the bridge. Can't even let this guy into the villager area. What a smart chap. I quickly looked around to see if I could find any more villagers on day 576. These guys over here made it really easy since they were trying to get into the villager area. Unfortunately, these guys over here was on the other side of the island, and I just couldn't be bothered to try and get them over, so I dealt with them accordingly. Take that as you will. One did take refuge on the boat that I built all that time ago, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't necessarily mind him there. He looks like he kind of belongs there, so I'm just gonna leave him as is. The only thing left in the old villager house was an island golem. Keyword was. Now, I don't want to bring this place down, but I'm not 100% sure what I'm gonna do with this building. I'm sure I can find something. For the time being, let me quickly go ahead and grab some food. I'll go ahead and grab a little bit of iron. I can breed the villagers with the food that I picked up, and I can get the advancement for spawning an iron golem. On day 577, after slowly putting my stuff away, it was time for another netherite mining adventure. Also, the villager on the boat, he was there a day ago. I have no idea where he's gone now. I looked everywhere for him. I think he may have drowned. Don't ask me how. Anyway, as I've already mentioned, I do need a lot of netherite. I decided that with my netherite mining trips, I'm just going to get a stack at a time and come back later, so I began mining away on day 577. And apparently, 8 days or 2.5 hours is the lucky number. Day 585, and I had another stack of netherite scraps, so it's time for me to head back. By the time I got back, it was the night of night 586, and I began cooking on 587. With the extra debris I was able to get, I only need 254 to go, which is basically the equivalent of about 4 stacks or just under. Also, ages ago, I have replaced the blast furnaces with normal furnaces when I was cooking terracotta, and I forgot to replace them back. By the time I noticed and actually did replace them, the netherite had already cooked up, so I kind of wasted a little bit of time there. If only I didn't have all of it in the world. I finished it by basically checking on my melons. Had another 2 stacks worth, so I decided to add it to the castle. It only put a dent into the amount of work that I want to do on it, but for the time being, it's good to go. There was pretty much one last thing I wanted to do on day 588 for the villager area, and that was to add a beacon. I could have replaced the beacon in the old villager house, but I decided to just get a brand new beacon, and so I flew over to the Nether Fortress to get myself some wither skulls, because I'm going to need to go ahead and kill a wither. Literally the second wither skeleton, and I got myself a skull, so this was a good start. In fact, this was quite a quick adventure altogether. It was only day 590, or 2 days later, and I killed 2 wither skeletons 5 minutes apart, and I got myself 2 more wither skulls. I literally had all of them very, very quickly. I even managed to get back the same day. Honestly, this was very quick compared to some journeys I've done. And on day 591, well, I'm going to be honest with you, this is the baby way to do it, but I fought the wither. I ate a god apple and then pretty much went to town on the guy with my sword. Don't take that out of context, please. Seriously, I barely even took any damage by the end of it, and that was pretty simple, so I grabbed the wither scar and headed up. I was 1 glass short, of course I was. Also, I thought you could use dyed glass for some reason. I was very wrong. Anyway, after cooking up a single piece of glass, I got the beacon down, and I started using the iron blocks that I collected over the time to set up a new beacon. I don't know why, but setting up a beacon from the top going down to the bottom felt really weird to me. Like, I'm so used to going bottom to top, especially when it was underwater. It wasn't too bad though, because at the end of the day, it is just a beacon, but we got there in the end. On day 592, I decided I wasn't fully done with the beacon, so I decided to make this bamboo fence thingy. Technical term, I know. Basically, I just didn't like the way the beacon looked when it was just floating, so I started adding some bamboo. Ow, stupid pufferfish! And it is done. I don't know why I killed a fish on the way out, but there you go. You can also see the Among Us statue really well from here. Anyway, I grabbed some things to make a little bit of a garden, made that little garden area with some trees, and it was done. For the first time in what felt like forever, I could finally take something off of the to-do board. I just wanted to show you on day 593, by the way, that this is a lot of my footage, just me storing stuff away in the storage hut. Like, seriously, the amount of times I did it would probably be 100 days itself. Anyway, with another task done, then I'm going to go, say it with me, Netherite mining. That is lava. Hey, straight to Netherite as well, that's cool. I knew pretty much straight away that it was going to be a good trip for me when within the first 5 minutes I had 4 separate veins of Netherite, and that's excluding the one that I found straight away. So I had hope that could potentially be my 8-day timer, and boy did I. It only took 6 days this time, so I'm going to see if I can beat that next time. But in 6 days, I was able to get myself a stack of Netherite. I very quickly head home, where it was day 600, the first milestone of the 1000 days video. I cooked up the Netherite. I now have 4 stacks of scraps ready to go. I only need about 2.5 more stacks and I would be good to go on that side. But I really need to take a break from Netherite mining, and besides, today is a very, very special day. It is map day. So just like every 100 days, I got myself 4 maps and did a checkout of the area, created the 4 maps in the 4 corners, and I finally had a use for the old villager house. I decided that I was going to put the map boards in there, and I'll fully fill it up by the time I reach day 1000. I had the first map in, and would you just look at that. Honestly, the map so far hasn't really updated that much other than the new villager area, but it's definitely a noticeable change. 100 of the 500 days done, only 400 to go. Oh boy. I did come to a decision on day 601. I really wasn't happy with the fact that the beacon was on top of my head, so for the time being, I think I'm going to move it. I want to make a proper platform for it at some point, and I'm thinking that I should use blackstone for it, because I haven't used blackstone yet, and I don't know why. For the time being, I think I'm going to put it over here. I'll put some temporary blocks in for the time being. I also did another quick check of my iron situation. Yeah, I think I'm good. And so on day 602, when I entered the Nether, I started looking for blackstone. I'm not going to lie, I'm not 100% sure exactly where blackstone spawns. At the top of my head, I want to say basalt biome, but I really wasn't sure. It didn't matter in the end though, because I was lucky enough to find myself a bastion. I'm sure they don't mind if I just borrow their wall, I guess. And once I had enough, I headed straight back home and started working on the pathway pretty much straight away. It is really basic, but like I say, I've never used blackstone, so it is going to stand out when you look around the world. Though on day 603, okay, some people might be annoyed at me here, but I decided yet again I wasn't happy with the location, so I'm going to move it. I decided to just leave the bridge as it is, because I will put something there at some point, but I want to put the beacon somewhere else. It took me until day 604 to settle with this location over here. And once I had it all in with lanterns, of course, I think it's going to look really good when I get the beacon in. The most important thing about this beacon is that actually it is technically smaller than the beacon I was planning on top of my head. So it means I've got less to build. Yes, it does, Haven. Yes, it does. We need less Netherite. Now, the original beacon that I was planning to build on top of my head actually had a base layer of 10 by 10, and obviously that means that every base above it is bigger. In case you don't know, the bottom layer of a beacon is only supposed to be 9 by 9, so that means I was shorting the amount of everything I needed by quite a lot. So at the top of the beacon, instead of needing a 4 by 4 Netherite grid, I now only need a 3 by 3 Netherite grid. Doing the maths, including the Netherite that I've already got, I I only need 74 more ancient debris scraps to actually complete this 3x3 grid. Definitely less daunting than the over 2 stacks that I originally needed. I will go and get that netherite real soon, but for the time being, I actually do need to restock on my food. I was waiting for the farm to finish doing its thing, but it was taking a while, so I just said I'm going to come back to it later and replant. And so it was into the nether on day 605. Now, it usually takes me about 8 days to get a single stack of netherite. In this particular case, I need a stack and then 15 extra pieces of ancient debris, so it was definitely going to take slightly longer at least. Also, if you're ever wondering what I do whilst I am netherite mining, well... Don't mind it, you're looking at the cave and you're feeling kind of brave. It'll be alright, don't yes, that's about right. So this one took even longer than usual. It was day 617, about 4 hours it actually took me to get the 80 pieces of ancient debris needed. I mean, I had one spare, I'm sure I could do something with that. But I was able to get back the same day and I started cooking them away. Even managed to sneak in a little nap, isn't that cute? And on day 618, I don't think I've had as many netherite scraps in one place like I have here. Unfortunately, we now have to do more maths, and I'm luckily not a nerd, so I'll let the doctor take over. That was a little bit rude. Anyway, as I mentioned, the top layer of this multi-layered beacon needs to be netherite. That is mostly sorted, so let's talk about the gold layer and the diamond layer that's underneath it. Let's start with the diamonds because that's pretty straightforward. The second layer of a beacon is 5 blocks by 5 blocks, which means you need 25 blocks of that material to make it. 25 blocks, 9 diamonds each. 25 times 9 means I need 225 diamonds or 3.5 stacks to make the 5 by 5 layer. The gold layer is actually a little bit more complex. Obviously, you have the 7 by 7 layer which sits underneath it, or about 49 blocks. 49 obviously times 9, because that's how you make a block, means I need 441 gold ingots to make the 7 by 7 layer. However, I only have netherite scraps and not netherite ingots, and you of course need gold for the netherite ingots. The grand total that I needed for the netherite scraps was 324. That would get me enough scraps to make enough ingots to make enough blocks. Of course, you need 4 netherite scraps to make the ingot, but you also need 4 gold to make the ingot, which means I need an additional 324 gold to make the ingots as well as make all the layers. Adding all that together means I need 765 gold ingots, or just under 12 stacks of gold, to actually complete this beacon. Oh boy, that's a lot. Now, I could technically make a gold farm, but I never have done, and I really fancied a bit of caving, so I decided to. Also, for anybody wondering if I have enough iron, I do. I'm not going to go caving just yet, though. First, I'm going to tend to my farms. I was able to get all the carrots and potatoes back down, and I might even start baking some potatoes. I don't know why I haven't upgraded my food source from just pure carrots in a while. Day 619, and I checked on the melon farm, and I noticed that the minecart was full. It was picking up all the melons, but wasn't depositing them away quick enough, so I wasn't getting all the melons that I needed. And so I made a couple of tweaks. I basically added 5 additional hoppers to the system, so hopefully more will now fall in there, which will hopefully clear out the minecart. It is also worth mentioning I was able to get myself a couple extra stacks of melons during that time. Day 620, just blaze it, I guess. I started adding the melons back down to the castle, and I finally reached how high I actually want to make this melon castle. Now, I do need an additional 5 or 6 stacks to complete the walls, but we are making some decent progress there. Now for something a little more, sus. Now, to be fair, for those who watched it in the Trio Survival Island, I did the exact same thing. Maybe you should go check that out at some point, but I really like this build, so I am decided to build it again. Here's a completed version on day 622. It does look very, sus. I'm not sure what I'll do with it, but I'm just happy that it's on the island. And with that done, I just can't put it off any longer. I need to go caving, get myself plenty of diamonds, and even more gold. So on this day, 622, I headed into the caves. So there was a lot of caving here, and not really much happened during the in-between time, so I'm just going to update every 5 days, starting at day 625. Within these 3 days, I was able to get myself 2 stacks of gold, but only 3 diamonds, so not a great start on the diamonds, I must say. 5 days later, on day 630, and I had 7 stacks of gold, so I was actually very close to completing that one, and I also was able to obtain 50 diamonds, so I was definitely making progress at this point. By day 635, I had got all the gold that I needed, which means I just need to go ahead and start mining some diamonds. The easy part of this is that I can now lower my Y level to go to diamond level caves. It should be quite easy to find diamonds at this point. And by day 640, I am not kidding, I was 1 diamond short for being completed here, so I have to keep caving for 1 diamond. Oh, I wish I was kidding. Lucky for me, it only took until the next day, day 600 641 to find the extra diamond. And our 39-day caving trip, that's right, 39 days, was finally complete. I got back home the next day, day 642, and I began cooking away all the gold. Now that one extra diamond I got, it was enough to get myself one extra diamond block, so I guess I miscounted that one. And for most of the day, I was pretty much just really excited to get this beacon base, so I was just waiting for the gold to cook. I didn't mind waiting out on day 643, but here we go. I got the 9 netherite nether blocks done. I just need to wait for the last of the gold to cook, which didn't take any time at all. And now for my creation. It took many days of netherite mining, gold collecting, diamond obtaining, iron. Well, I had all the iron, but I finally created my masterpiece. Missing something. Son of a, I forgot the damn bacon! Well, I want to get that sorted as quick as possible. So on day 644, I went straight back into Nether and started killing some wither skeletons. I got my first skull done pretty quickly, all things considered. By day 645, I had got the second skull, so good progress so far. And in 3 days in a row, by day 646, I had gotten my third skull. Let's head home. By the time I got back on day 647, I headed straight into the caves and started fighting the wither. I totally didn't do it the baby way by trapping him in a cave or something. No, guys, don't call me baby, please. I also failed the potion kill. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really letting the team down here. Well, let's get back up and cook up some glass. I have 0 obsidian. Well, I guess we're going back into the caves. In this case, I actually grabbed a bunch of obsidian. You never know when you might need obsidian in the future. Also want to mention, I don't think I've ever mined obsidian with an efficiency 5 netherite pickaxe. Look at it go. It breaks so quickly. That's awesome. And the big day, day 648. Let's make the beacon. I don't know why I only thought I needed free glass, but here we go. Didn't have anything to activate it. All right, now we do. Look at it. I'm like a proud dad who's just made his creation like a bench or something. Oh, it's fantastic. I also did check on the melon farm again, by the way. It was still getting clogged even with the additional hoppers. So I decided to just cut to the chase and add about 50 more hoppers, and hopefully that will fix it. I was still working on it on day 649. I started by testing it by throwing in my baked potatoes, but for some weird reason, it kept getting stuck on this particular hopper. It didn't take me long to realize that the reason it was stopped was because of the redstone, so I had to tweak it a little bit and move some redstone and move some hoppers around. I was able to test it again by throwing in this obsidian, and this time it has worked. We have liftoff. Now, there's no way I don't have enough hoppers here. There's like literally a stack in there. If this somehow still gets clogged, I don't know what to do. That being said, of course there was a problem pretty much straight away. Luckily for me, it was an easy fix though it does look like there isn't enough power to get it all the way from one side to the other, so I will have to sacrifice at least one of these hoppers for a powered rail. It is finally working though, so we should be good to go. And on day 650, firstly I made myself quite a bit of inventory space, and then I started making as many melons as possible, and I was able to get the walls on the castle as high as I want. I just need to add some details, but of course that will require more melons, which I now don't have. We are getting there though, it's worth mentioning. I also remembered to check the to-do board for the first time in forever. It doesn't seem like there's many tasks here, but each individual task will take a very long time, so that's fun. On day 651, I decided yet again I was going to try and see if I can get some bees. Now, as far as I'm aware, the only place that bees can spawn is on birch trees and oak trees, so I went to each individual island and chopped down all the wood and replanted the saplings. Just got to keep hoping that 5% chance will happen for me. I also checked in on the melon farm yet again. It still looks good, so I'm pretty happy with that one. And then finally, I went to check on the villages to make sure everything was okay over here. Everything seems fine, though there is a lack of cats, which is a bit surprising. Usually I'm infested with them. On day 652, I need to get myself some spruce woods for my next build, so let's chop down some trees. How in the world did the sniffer get out? Sneaky little thing. Well, can't really call them little, but you know what I mean. Anyway, there's a really simple way to get a lot of spruce wood. You just have to make a 4x4 and then bone meal it a bunch, and that way you'll just have all the spruce wood you'll ever need. After spending pretty much the entire day doing this, yeah, I think I have enough wood. And on day 653, well, it was finally time to build the second boat. I've been talking about doing it for about 200 days at this point, so let's do it. You know the best way to do it? With a nice, simple building montage! Well, I had it completed by day 657. I have to admit it is much more basic than the first one, but I think it does the job for what I wanted it to be. We're gonna finally cross that one off the board as well. I also want to mention as well that the auto farms that I have on the island are working fantastically. Like the bamboo farm is fantastic. This iron farm is just, it's phenomenal. I've never seen as good as an iron farm in my entire life, and it's so small and compact. This is just a great iron farm. Like, here's me accidentally making a bunch of shears by accident, but I just didn't care because I have so much iron spare that I could just throw these shears out and just get more iron. This is just fantastic. A neat little trick that I learned on day 658 is that you can use glass panes and put them on top of a beacon to change the color of the beacon. And the best part about that is that you actually can't see the glass pane, so it just looks like the beacon color is actually different. So after faffing around a little bit, I got a green one over there, there's a yellow one right there, the blue is in the middle, there's a pink one over there, and then on the far side you can see the black one. Nice multicolored beacons, great. Anyway, let's focus on getting some good food in here. So I quickly grabbed some taters and started cooking those bad boys up. I went back to the melon castle on day 659 where I was able to finish the outer walls. I can finally start working on the inner walls and actually make sort of a wall thing like castles normally have. Of course, I ran out of melons very quickly. I mean, shocker, I know. When I did go back to the melon farm though, I noticed a lack of minecart sounds, and when I went in there, yep, the minecart just stopped for some reason. Not really sure why this happened, but I just simply restarted it and it seemed to work fine again, so I'll just have to keep an eye on it, I guess. I also knew during my times I definitely saw a new cat in the villager area. I was 100% confident of it, so I went over there with my fish, and yeah, I don't know, I just couldn't find this cat. Either I'm delusional, which I don't think I am. I'm fairly confident I saw the cat, but yeah, no idea where it went. Day 660 admittedly was a little bit of a slow day. I started by checking the newly grown trees, and sadly there was no beehive of them, so I decided to do a little bit of research. I am right in saying that beehives can spawn on birch and oak trees, but it looks like they can only spawn in specific biomes, and this entire island is either beach or some form of ocean, so I don't think they could spawn here, sadly, so I am just going to cross off bees from any future tests that I want to do. After that, I was just looking for the next location of where I wanted to build, and I decided that what I want to do is extend the original Blackstone bridge into the water a little bit, and then I'm gonna do a build there. So I needed more blackstone, so on day 661 I returned back to the nether. I actually found a basalt biome this time, and I was right, this is where you find the blackstone. And so I started, of course, mining away. Once I had enough blackstone, I did actually spend a couple of minutes fixing up my pickaxe by mining myself some quartz before flying back home. I got back on the same day, though the sun was setting. I did get to work on day 662 by extending the bridge far into the water, and after spitballing a few ideas, I decided to settle with this wooden frame kind of thing. The idea is that I want it to look like it's in some sort of box. Obviously, I'll have them extend themselves, and there will be some stills that go down into the water, which makes it look like that's what's holding up the house. I had quite a lot done by day 663. I mean, here we are. Basically, the inside is done. I just need to do the roof, and a couple of more details would be good to go. That being said, it is pretty basic, but who cares? I quickly went back home and grabbed all the cats, and then found them a nice little spot for them all to put in, whether it's under places, over places, but nice little place for them to live. And on day 664, I got some carpets in, I did a little bit more interior design, and now it was time to work on the roof, and oh boy was it a big job. Sadly, I can't show you because I accidentally stopped recording here and didn't start recording until now, day 667, where I had it completed. That definitely says cat up there. Trust me, I'm the one who writ it. I've shown you the bottom floor, but this is basically what I've got up top. Again, it's really basic, and other than me adding some fences just to make it look a bit more natural, this is pretty much what the cat house is gonna be. Not perfect, but I can't complain. I can go back to the board, cross it off. I did quickly check to see if any more cats spawn in the village, but unfortunately no. There is plenty of golems though, for anybody who's counting. And so on day 668, I decided to let's go back and work on a couple more advancements. The most simple one that I found that I could do is the two that you can do that involve striders. One of them does require you to make a very long lava path in the overworld, so I did have to make this path down here and then work on clearing out the water. And with that done, I now just have to keep going into the nether, picking up a lava bucket and putting them down. And on day 669, with the lava done, I just had to quickly go back to the nether and grab a strider boy. Now the first advancement is as easy as could be, and the second one wasn't too much harder admittedly. I got him into the overworld, did one little small ride, and perfect. You live here now. You can have fun. The next advancement I was looking for does require me to get some crying obsidian, and I believe that bastions should have them. And I know there is one nearby. That's where I got the blackstone from, and as far as I'm aware, I didn't explore it yet. So getting there and searching all the chests chests that were there. Admittedly, there was a bunch of cool, useful stuff in there, including this chest right here, which honestly would be the perfect chest under normal circumstances. It had pick step, it had food, it had a trimming, but it only had 2 crying obsidian. The one thing that I needed it didn't have, which was very unfortunate. I definitely looked out though on day 670. Whilst looking for a second bastion, I actually found myself a broken nether portal in the wall, and this broken nether portal had exactly enough crying obsidian for me to actually be able to make a respawn beacon. By fully maxing out a respawn beacon, you have yourself another advancement. Not too shabby, Haven, not too shabby. You know, you think 671 days into this world I would know this storage hut like the back of my hand and where every single chest is, but just no, you'd be entirely wrong. Now for something that is actually quite evil, and when I say quite evil, I mean very evil. Firstly, I had to make sure that the king didn't get involved with this maliciousness, so I'll just tie him to the fence post and lead him away. Now you may think that it was me who tied him to the fence post, but that is fake news. Don't tell to the presses, it wasn't me. But I did lead his children over to this new area because I'm going to need a lot of chickens for my new plan. I wanted to make a automatic chicken farm. Hey, there's a wandering trader over here. Man, his stuff is just useless. Ah, king, how did you end up tied to this post? I was at the other side of the island the entire time. I wouldn't know. Never mind, let me just free you really quickly. So I got to work on the evil contraption on day 672. I'll show you this little mini Taj of me making it. For the most part, it was relatively simple. It also relatively small, so it didn't take that long at all. I did kind of mess up by letting the chickens out at one point, but don't worry, that won't happen again. Here it is happening again on day 673, of course. And with the chickens in and everything good, as far as I'm aware, this should be good to go. I guess we'll now just wash and wait. Yeah. Day 674, and I think it was working. I mean, there is a baby chicken in there, so as far as I'm aware, it's good to go. I actually left for like 2 seconds to check on the iron farm, and when I came back, the chicken had gone, and now I had cooked chicken in there. So yeah, I would say that my KFC machine is now working. In case you're unsure how this is working, basically what will happen is the chickens up here will lay eggs, and it will be shot by the dispenser over here. The babies will spawn and they'll be perfectly fine, but the moment they grow to adults, the larva above it will kill it, dropping the chicken into this hopper, which will put it in this chest, meaning in theory I have unlimited chicken. I'll leave it to do its thing and check it a little bit later to see how much chicken it does give me. I also realized at this point that all of my gear wasn't maxed out. I still only had efficiency 4 tools, which is just, what am I doing? Finally get to use this village trader hall. It's only been forever. I already had 1 efficiency 4 book, so I ended up buying 2 more. I didn't need the 3rd one in the end because my pickaxe was already efficiency 5, but I was able to up my shovel and my axe to both efficiency 5 as well. Day 675, and I cleared up the temporary chicken farm where I led the chickens to originally. I checked on the king. Luckily for me and everyone around, he's doing perfectly fine. How did you get out again? How are they escaping? Just get in there, you know. Why are they even? Just get in there. And then I found myself another cat, in which I quickly tamed. Sadly, this was a cat that I already had, so I can't work towards the catalog advancement, but I don't have to worry about that for now. What I should worry about instead is that I now have quite a few extra builds, but no paths leading towards them, so I need to grab myself some extra oak wood. Once I had a good bit of oak wood on day 676, I was just running around the island, seeing if there's anything that needed a path leading to it, and then of course I built a path straight towards it. It was a pretty simple day, and I made sure everything was good to go, but there you go. Now the paths are all sorted. I checked on the melon farm again on day 677, and yet again, I didn't hear minecart sounds. For some weird reason, the exact same spot it was stopping both times. My only theory is that over time it kept slowing down, and so I decided to add an additional redstone track on there to hopefully keep it speeding up. Hopefully this will fix it. Again, we'll have to check it in a couple of days. For the time being, let's grab the melons we can do, carry on building, and I'm out of melons. I mean, I should just copy and paste the audio from earlier, let's be honest. I head back over to the village on day 678, where I had found myself some cats. 2 new cats, 2 new variants, so I really wanted to tame them as quick as possible. I quickly grabbed the fish. I got over to the first cat, and he barely took any fish at all. The second one, and come on. Oh my god, you fat little kid. Will you just... Oh, thank you. I don't know how many fish that was. I'm sure Gray will tell us. Thanks, Gray. And I put them in the cat home. For the record, that is 5 cat variants now done. Only 6 more to go. I didn't really do much for the rest of the day. I did nearly eat my god apple, which would have been funny. For you guys, I'd have been furious. So I have a little bit of a problem entering day 679. Yeah. Here is the to-do board that I made. I think it was like the early 500s of everything that I wanted to do. Pretty much all of these that are on here require me to wait a bit. What I mean by that is, obviously the monorail would like to add something to go all the way around the island that you can sort of look at a monorail, but I don't want to build it just yet, just in case I like start expanding and stuff. The melon castle, I'm just waiting for melons to grow, so there's not really much to say there. The advancement hunt there is still stuff to do, but a lot of it is just kind of like tedious or just a bit, you know, of a pain, so I'm kind of holding off on that for as long as I can. The Hall of Haven is what I've dubbed it. It's basically I want to build something that like holds a bunch of cool stuff that I've collected over the time, like, but again, that needs to be done towards the end. Finally made build, I think I'm going to just wait until 1.20 officially comes out, because I am still technically in the snapshot, as you can see at the top. So once that happens, then I'll do something, because I have an idea for that. The point is that the 5 things on here either require a bit of waiting, or, you know, I don't want to do for quite a while. 180 days in, just under, I'm kind of out of things to do right now. I mean, I need to take a little break and think about some stuff that I need to do, but that's kind of where my mindset's at the moment. Look how far we've come, by the way. Look how little we had on here. I mean, if you ignore the Among Us, that shouldn't be there, but look at that. We had nothing. But there was a melon farm like right here. That's where my farms used to be. Oh my god. I still left the melons. How long were the melons here for? The melons were there on free. What? I only changed the melons from day 500. I had that terrible melon farm 400 days in. That's kind of funny, I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, that's pretty much my live update. That's currently what I'm thinking, is that I've pretty much done everything that I wanted to do. That doesn't require me to do a lot of waiting. I guess I could go on an achievement hunt spam, I guess, but there's not a lot of these I can do. I mean, to give you a rundown, I can't do the beads ones. Can't do that. Can't do that. I can do that, but again, that requires a lot of waiting. I guess I could technically do that. I could do these two. Again, no. And now I thought I could do balanced diet, but I just can't, because there's no way for me to get like beef or mutton. Like, there's no way for me to get them off the top of my head. I guess I could look into it a little bit, but still. Uneasy Alliance, I hate that advancement. I guess I'll do it at some point. Then there's Furious Cocktail and How Did We Get Here? I tried to do How Did We Get Here before in the 1,000 days. The only other 1,000 days I've ever done failed spectacularly. As far as I'm aware, I don't think I would be able to do this. Now, I could be wrong, but the one that's sort of making me think I don't think I can do this is Jump Boost, because I believe you need a rabbit's foot, and I can't do that. There might be certain ways to do it, but that's the one I can't think of. I'm not even sure I could do Furious Cocktail, actually, now that I think about it. Other than that, maybe I can do everything else, but I don't know. There's a bunch here. I could technically get... Is it a bird by looking at a spyglass? Like, looking at a bird as I'm flying over, but I feel like that'd be kind of cheating. I don't know. Could do that. I just have to head back to the ancient city. Monsters Hunted, I thought I could do. I don't think I'd be able to kill a husk or a stray, so that's kind of out the window. Power books, I guess I could do. I don't really think I can get a total of undying. Actually, that's not true. If I can get a pillager attack, which, if I remember correctly, I've had one. That's why I've got that flag. I won all the way back in the first 100 days, so that's fun. The smithing with style I can't do because I can't get Vex or Hide, I believe it is. I don't remember which one it is. I know I can't get 2 of them, but I can get the other 6. I mean, I'm not really bothered about these. I guess I could technically get them, but I'd have to get a pillager. So that's pretty straightforward. Can't get that, can't get that, can't get that. Got all the end ones. I've already been through this one. So there is a handful I can still get, and there's a handful that I can't get. So I guess that's probably what I'm going to do next. Yeah, a lot of these are going to be a bit painful. I guess we'll keep moving. So the first thing I did on day 680 was I started looking for some glow squids. I thought maybe below me in that water cave that I searched all the way in the first 100 days, there was some glow squids, because there were some there when obviously I searched it originally, but I couldn't seem to find any. I then wondered that over these 600 plus days, surely at some point I would have picked up a glow squid ink, but no, I couldn't find any of the chests around me. I did have a quick glance around the oceans nearby, but couldn't see anything shining, so unfortunately I'll have to do that one later. For now, I guess I'll just settle with tactical fishing. I haven't done that one for some weird reason. Since I can't find a glow squid, let's move on to something else. How about killing a mob near a skull catalyst? The only problem is the only ancient city nearby me is not nearby at all, so I had to go ahead and do a little bit of a run. Now, I have no idea what day it was when I got here, and in fact, as soon as I did get here, I basically nearly spawned a warden straight away, so that would would have been fun. But we'll take the skeleton skull though. Don't know why I left them before. Now, it actually took me a second to find any mobs whatsoever, but eventually I was able to find a single zombie. I just had to lead him over to the catalyst, and there you go. That's another advancement done. All right, now we just gotta head home. All right, bear with me. By the time I got back, it was day 683, or should I say night 683. It's way past my bedtime. Next up on day 684, I need to get a villager into the sky, and soul soil unfortunately doesn't do it. I quickly popped into the nether, had to deal with a couple of piglings, not a problem. I grabbed myself some soul sand and began to leave. What the f was that? After that, I started going up to make a platform at the sky limit. Did you know that it takes absolutely forever to get up here? At least we could jump down, and that was kind of cool. Day 685, and up we go. I forgot for soul sand, you need to make all the box source blocks, or else the bubble thing doesn't work. But I felt that would take too long and make too much of a mess, so I just decided to do it in the normal way. Admittedly, this was probably slower in the grand scheme of things, but you know what? We're making progress up, and it is a-okay. We got it by the end of the day, which was nice. I came back the next day on day 686 just to basically clean it up. It was admittedly an eyesore. The villager made his own way down, and yeah, this took most of the day. Literally just digging this all the way down. Yeah, it was longer than I thought it was going to be. And just as I was leaving, I found myself an orange cat with the sniffers. Of course the orange cat would be there. Of course it's an orange cat. This is orange cat behavior. If you know, you know. He was very quickly tamed. It was a perfect end to the day. Woo! I quickly returned to the village on day 687 because I was looking for more cats. Sadly, there was no kitties around this time, so instead, let's check on the chicken killer. Only 6 cooked chicken? Really? That's not really that good. Now to do an advancement that I just absolutely hate. I need to get myself Uneasy Alliance. If you don't know, I have to get a gas to the overworld and kill it, and I really don't enjoy doing this one, but here we go. So the first task I did on day 688 was to get myself some more obsidian. I ended up mining myself a stack, and then I found myself a giant cave where I began to make myself a giant portal. Now, I don't know how in the world I managed to get attacked by an enderman up here, but I thought it was cool enough to show. Also, I wish I could tell you that I perfectly planned this out and just got a perfect size, but no, I was just lucky and made the portal at the perfect size, so go me. And as I went through the portal, it ended up teleporting me back to my original portal, which is not good. I ended up going back through, which took me all the way back to my spawn island. Yeah, I guess I'll have to try again tomorrow. I got back on day 689. The first thing I did was I mined a bunch of obsidian because I remember that I have to make the portal on the other side as well. Then using a overworld to nether portal converter, I was able to figure out exactly where this portal needs to be. About 50 blocks away from my first portal. Of course it was. With the portal made, unfortunately there's a lot of gaff around it, so I am going to have to go ahead and clear that out. Now, wall blocks are quite annoying to destroy, but Google says that if you use a hoe, then you should be able to break them quite quickly. So I'm going to quickly head home and grab myself a hoe. It took me a second, but here we are on day 690 where I cleared it out. Also, if you want to see something funny, over there, just up there, there's where my main portal is, and if you look all the way over here, a turtle has made an absolute run for it. Don't know why the turtle's so determined to get away from me, but it is. Also, I fell in lava, so yeah. Over an hour, but on day 694, using my third fishing rod, I was able to get a gas into the overworld. Thank Christ, Uneasy Alliance is done. I will avoid doing that advancement for as long as possible. Now with day 695 right here, I decided to do something a little early, and that was make the maps for the 700 day board. I had a couple of big plans when day 700 hit, so I decided to do this one early and then just basically wait out until day 700. The map for the most part looks relatively similar, other than the giant lava bar in the top left and the layered beacon you can see at the top. Honestly, a good map looking overall. And though I was planning to wait until day 700, I was actually surprised that when 700 came, well, it was a big day for Minecraft entirely. Just before we get to day 700, we have something to do. For those who saw it when I did it 4 days ago, I put this out. Do you want a chance to feature in the 1000 Days 1.20 Survival Island? Post your IGNs below and I'll pick a lucky winner. Now, I think a couple of people got confused and people were like, oh, pick me, I want to play with you. Unfortunately, that's not what I meant. I simply just wanted your skin because, moment of truth, I'm going to build someone's skin in my Minecraft world, and I think that's going to be kind of cool. Just as a thank you to one of you guys for, you know, being so supportive over 2023. It's been a really good time. So what I've done, as you can see, there is 67 comments here, and I have a random number generator that goes from 1 to 67. So one of the random people from here will be picked, and obviously that means that this guy is 1, this person is 2, this person is 3. I'm just going to randomly put a number generator out there and basically pick a winner. Just want to give a quick shout out to this guy, Knight, who says he loves my videos. Just thank you, Knight. As you can see, Knight hasn't put his IGN in the comment, which means obviously I can't really pick anybody. If that does happen and I get a comment that is they don't really say a name or I can't find the skin or something, then I will just pick the person above. So in this case, if I did get number 2, then obviously I would pick, I don't even know how to pronounce this guy's name, but you know, there you go. Right then, random number generator, let's do this. 38. All right, let me just quickly count 38 down. 35, 36, 37, and lucky number 38. I eat potato chips. Great name. Well, if as long as they have a decently alright skin, they would count as my winner. Alright then, let me just quickly check their skin. You know what? That's a pretty dapper skin. Potato chips. Yep. So congratulations to Mr. Potato Chips, Mrs. Potato Chips themselves. I'm gonna build this skin in the Survival Island world. So you know, thank you all for leaving me comments. I'm sorry for everyone who didn't get picked, but yeah, this lucky person. Let's build a skin. So Minecraft released 1.20 a couple of days ago. It was June 7th when they released it. June 8th and June 9th, I was working on a different video, which, you know, 24 hours in Minecraft, not my smartest decision. Today is June 10th, and yeah, look at me go. Look at all this schnitzel. 1.20 is officially here. That is wild. I remember starting this in the first ever snapshots, what, 5 months ago, and we're actually now at 1.20. We're also 700 days into this world. Started this video on day 500, so we're 200 days and we've got 300 to go. My goal is to get this out by the end of July. We shall see. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to build, what was his name? Potato Chips' skin. I need to find a good location. Let me just quickly check the map. I'm thinking I might do it over there where the cherry tree was, where there's that little island thing. That might be a good idea. If not, I might build something past the mob grinder and build it there. I'll decide when that time comes, but yeah, we are officially in 1.20. Took forever to get there, but here we are. So 300 days to go. Looking at the stuff as well, I mean, pretty much most of these will be probably done in the next 100 days if I so decide. So I really need to find some new stuff to do, but that's for future me to decide, not current me. So after looking at a couple of different spots, I ended up deciding to build it past the mob grinder. I will need to extend the bridge, but just cobblestone, that shouldn't be an issue. You know what is annoying me on day 701? Let me just quickly move the day counter, and for this right here, it won't go away until I break wood. Whose idea was that? I'm 700 days into this world, and they think I need tips on how to play, like seriously? So after very quickly extending the bridge, much thanks to Swift Sneak itself, I took another quick look at the skin again. It is mainly black, which means I'm going to need a lot of black dye. The original plan was for me to just fly around and kill a bunch of squids, but I did have a problem. I have very little gunpowder and so little sugarcane to spare. And because of how little fireworks I have for the first time in this world, well, I'm going to need to set myself up a creeper and a sugarcane farm, because to be honest with you, these 23 fireworks that are on my name at the moment, yeah, it's not a lot. Let's do the easy one first, which is the sugarcane farm. Out of all things that I don't have on day 702, I cannot believe cobblestone is on that list. To be clear, I do have plenty of deep slate, but you need observers and pistons for this type of farm that I'm wanting, and they only accept cobblestone in the crafting recipe, and so I'm going to need a bunch of cobble. I started mining away until I got 20 observers and 28 pistons. I decided on a good spot to get to work on this on day 703, and after faffing around a little bit, I got to work placing the sugarcane, observers, and pistons. I did, however, make one mistake. I made this farm 28 long, and for some weird reason, I thought that I had enough observers and pistons to do that. But since this is a double-sided sugarcane farm, I need to get 28 more. I swear to God, I'm not that dumb usually, but I do need to go and get more cobble. And then on day 704, after making enough that I needed, I got them all in. Then I just had to get the redstone on there. I did have to expand the platform a little bit. Then I went to P. Apparently, it was a long P. And by the time I got back on day 705, my idea was to have a water source pushing the sugarcane into these hoppers. This will lead to an individual chest, which whilst not the most efficient in the world, it really doesn't need to be, because let's be honest, sugarcane farms nearly fill up so quickly. Now, it didn't necessarily look that amazing, but it's more about getting it to work rather than making it look fancy. And that's the exact reason why it's taken me 4 days. Day 706, and the hoppers were very annoying to place. You have to shift in the water, but that will make you go down in the water, and if you don't shift at the right time, then you'll go into the hopper. It was a pain. Also, a wandering trader showed up. He was about as useful as the others. I threw my axe and my pickaxe into the hoppers. It, of course, works like a charm. Let's get the sugarcane in. Wait a second. I've put the pistons and the observers one too low, haven't I? Well, I guess I'm gonna have to restart that one. What I will admit on day 707, that nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, is more demoralizing than having to redo a bunch of work that you've just done. But here I am, doing it in a not so live audience. I would be more mad, but to be honest with with you, I've got 300 more days to go before this will end, so I'm not really rushing to do literally anything. At least I will be done soon once I get a few extra blocks, because apparently I'm just a few blocks short. Let me just quickly grab that, and great. Now let's get the sugarcane in. Perfect. Very soon I will want to make it look a little bit more fancy, but for now, it's gut, yeah? That's German for it's good, yes? At least I hope so. And then on day 708, final couple of touches to make it a bit more fancy. I added some bamboo to the walls to replace the cobblestone. I kept not bringing enough, so it was a lot of back and forth grabbing more bamboo blocks. But by the end of the day, I was happy with everything that I had replaced. It was a very easy, very simple farm, but it will give me the sugarcane I need. Right then, next up the creeper farm, and oh boy, I'm not looking forward to that. Do you know what I learned on day 709? Did you know that you can repair shields in an anvil with wooden planks? Because I had no idea. I decided that I didn't want to keep doing that though, so I'm just gonna put mending on my shield and then it should never break. I also, whilst looking at my armor, realized that I was missing an enchant, and that was fawns. Lucky for me, I had a villager in the village trader hall that was trading fawns for ebooks, so I am a few emeralds short, which really wasn't a problem. A new wandering trader showed up as well. I don't even know why I'm checking at this point, I'll be honest with you. I bought the last book and started adding it to my armor. At least I would, but I'm actually a few levels short because I need quite a few to get this done. Well, I can add them onto my armor a little bit later. Here we are on day 710, where first update on the chicken farm, and I'm getting plenty of feathers, but not much chicken, which is kind of the whole point. At least I was getting plenty of melons. Oh, right, sorry. Melon! I still have a long way to go on the melon castle, but we are getting there. Also, I really thought it would be a problem with leather, but honestly, these llamas are such a good source that I'm actually not struggling for leather at all, which is a weird surprise. I checked again on day 711 at the sugarcane farm. It was working perfectly fine. Been a while since you've been in here. Well, Dr. Havenhand checking in. The next farm that I need to make myself is a gunpowder farm. Combining the sugarcane with the gunpowder would mean I'd have an unlimited support of fireworks, which means I can use my elytra to fly around anywhere that I wanted to. Now, I have made a gunpowder farm in the past, ironically in the other 1000 days video I ever made. The problem is that farm requires snowman, which of course requires snow, and to my knowledge, there's no easy way for me to really get snow, so I will have to come up with a plan B, and that plan was cats. I went on YouTube and found a nice design that would allow cats to push creepers into a death chamber, basically, so we're going to try that one out and hope it gives us a lot of gunpowder. I started the build on day 712 right next to the sugarcane farm. I guess it's time we do another building montage. It did tell me after building the farm that I should AFK all the way in the sky. So I AFK'd for about 30 minutes, which led me to day 717. And when I went down, it was the moment of truth. 0. Oh, awesome. Great. Cool. I thought that potentially it could be from the light that came from down below it. So I decided to cover the glass and cover up the light. It was worth a go. And then I went back up and went AFK again. I left it an hour and came back on day 720. Just nothing. You can see that I am overjoyed to say the least. I decided though at this point I needed a break from the creeper farm. I don't know why it was working, but I will figure it out later. At least during this time of AFK and stuff, I was able to get myself plenty more melons. I had 4 stacks of melon blocks, and those melon blocks did quite a lot to the castle. I'm guessing that maybe a few more stacks and I should be completing with the melon castle. It's only taken a few hundreds of days, you know, the usual. I looked at the creeper farm again on day 721. There's definitely something I'm doing wrong with this. You are welcome to yell at me in the comments. Just remember that this was recorded probably 2 months by the time I get this uploaded. And so I made the very, very frustrating decision to basically scrap the farm altogether and look for a new design. So I started ripping down the farm. And on day 722, I had the farm down. I instantly started working on the new farm, well, at least a mini version of the farm that I found online. I'm gonna need a little bit more deep slate though. Lucky for me, I have plenty, so I got to work. Work is still trotting along on day 723. The idea was the cats that I stood in the middle here would force the creepers into this gap. They would fall down this water stream, pushing them into this single campfire. It's a very simple design, but I'm hoping that it will work. I just need to add a couple of last touches, like adding some carpets in, and we should be good to go. And the last thing to do on day 725 was to get the cats in. And once they were in their locations, I closed up and oh my god, I hope this works, seriously. I mean, there is no time like the present to try it out, so I went back up to the AFK shack in the sky and I went, well, AFK, what do you expect? Another hour later, and this is it. Here we go. Oh my god, there's gunpowder. There's 30 gunpowder. That means I was averaging 1 gunpowder every 2 minutes, which is absolutely terrible. But for the time being, it will do. In the retrospect, I probably won't need that much gunpowder anyway. For now, I could store it away and actually work on a bridge to this thing. I did have a sneak peek into the farm on day 729, and there was just nothing in there. I mean, it works badly, but you know, not the first time I've had a mob grinder work badly on this island, just saying. At least the sugarcane farm is cooking, or growing. Yeah, I guess you don't cook sugarcane. Or do you? all of this work, these hours I put in for 1.5 stacks of fireworks, is the joys of Minecraft. I'm not gonna lie, I took so long building these farms, I actually forgot why I made them in the first place. See me staring into this chest? That's me reading my notes because I was like, why did I do this? What am I doing here? The only other thing I did on this day was I found myself a new cat and brung him home. That's 7 out of the 11 needed. And then on day 730, after realizing what I was supposed to do, I started looking for new spots for the skin because I completely forgot about the spot that I already selected. I ended up deciding we're going past the cherry trees over here. It'll be a nice spot for it. Day 731, I can finally set off into the world to get squidding. Now, I do need a decent amount to get this stuff done, so I was flying around all day just killing every squid that I could find. By the end of the day, I did get myself a stack of squid ink, which should be enough to go. And though I have the black ink, by day 732, the thing that I needed to make black was concrete. And so I am going to need to make myself some concrete powder. And so I entered into the nether because one of the 2 things you need for the powder is gravel. The only small issue that I had is that my netherite shovel actually has fortune free on it, which means the flint chance will be upgraded if I was to dig it up with this shovel. I ended up just using this efficiency 1 diamond shovel that I had spare and started digging up all the gravel I could. I ended up digging up about 4 stacks of gravel, which I'm fairly confident that will be enough. Now, where am I gonna get sand from? God, the impossible decisions of this world. So on day 733, there was a villager in the middle of the ocean. You know what? I just don't care. And I actually flew over to the ocean ruins that was in the water because it had a sand island next to it, and I decided that I'm just gonna dig up this sand island. You could make the argument that I'm using new land here, but quite frankly, I'd rather destroy this island than destroy a lot of my own island just to get sand. And also, guys, literally, it's a small island in the middle of the water. What am I getting from this other than sand? Once I made all the black concrete powder, I started placing it in the water before using my brain and realizing there's a much smarter way to do this by placing it on land. A little bit of water mixed into it on day 734, and I started mining it up. I even made myself a little bit of red concrete as well. I do also need terracotta, and I was fairly confident I had some somewhere from when I made the pick step art. However, other than this little red over here, I genuinely couldn't find any, so I guess I'm gonna have to head back into a lush cave and start digging up a bunch of clay. By the time I had that dug up on day 735, I remembered that I need to occasionally break my furnaces more because the amount of levels I get from it is just fantastic. And now we wait for the clay to cook into terracotta. Whilst we do that, did somebody say melon castle? All right, let's do this. Oh, I misplaced that one. That's fine. I'll just use my where is my axe? Okay, I don't know what happened here. I just somehow lost my axe. I ended up spending a minute looking around the islands just searching for it. I thought it was in the chest over by the cherry trees where I placed all the concrete and stuff. It wasn't. I went through every single chest in my storage shack. I was so confused where it was till I ended up checking the furnace area and found it in there. I don't know how I accidentally put it in there, but there you go. Anyway, I got the melons and I put them all down, and I think one more stack will do it, boys. One more stack and I have made the melon castle. I waited an extra day, but it was day 737 where I had the terracotta cooked. Let me just grab it and... oh no, that's really bad. And thunder, great. At least I can sleep away the day. Now, on day 738, it might not look like a super big deal to you, but the maps that were there were completely ruined. And it wasn't just 300, it was 400 as well. Basically, the maps that I had locked in there, I didn't save them because at the time, I didn't realize you could actually do that. So when they were broken and put into the world, they updated, so now they're updated as of day 738. From what I can tell, there is no direct way to fix this, and there's no way to put them back in without loading them up for the first time as well. I did have a quick Google around and found that you could technically change the names of them, but you'd have to tamper with the files and stuff, and I'm not sure, I don't know about that one. It just felt a bit, sad. So I guess I'll just go and cry in the bathtub, and then when I come back, I'll fix the signs and then fix the flooring. It was a sad day to be Havenhand, I will say that. And so on day 739, I got to work on the skin. May have left the terracotta behind. No biggie. Definitely not my couple of days, I'll say that much. And so I got to work. I was planning out pretty much everything that I needed to do. And whilst I was doing that, I actually saw some glow squids in the distance. I actually still need that if you remember, so let me go ahead and kill those boys. Anyway, it was back to work. Do you want to see a single player world lag on day 740? Well, here you go. I don't know what happened here, but there it is. The good news is this skin is actually really simple. It pretty much is just a suit. The bad news is that I had to get myself more black concrete. Luckily, I got plenty in the reserve, so I just need to make it and start building it again. Here is an update on day 741. The arms were completely done. There was some powder in the arms, and I felt like that added a bit of texture rather than just being pure pure black, so I think I'm going to include that a little bit here, there, and everywhere. Well, a little bit later at least. I've still got more building to do. And this was the body done on day 742. We just need to get the head on there and we are good to go. Also, you guys see that weird texture with the clouds? I've never seen that before. I got working on the face on day 743, but I did forget about the hair of all things. I never actually got myself any materials for the hair, so I'm gonna have to quickly stop and go and get some stuff there. After getting everything I needed by day 744, I got to work. The thing that I will mention about Chip's skin is that his hair is multiple colors of brown, so I did try to mix a concrete, terracotta, and wool mixture into the hair. I ended up deciding that this was a little bit too small, and looking at the brown wool, I really wasn't a fan of it, so I decided to take that out, and I also do need to make the head a bit bigger. And here is the final product on day 745. I honestly think it looks pretty good. I'm gonna just put a couple of signs down and get the advancement. Lo and behold, good stuff, good day. And with another thing ticked off the board on day 746, I started looking at advancements again, seeing what I could and couldn't do. And from the surface level, I believe there is only 7 more advancements I can get without breaking or bending any rules. Here, I'll let the doctor explain. So counting the advancements that I had left at this point, I believe there was 24 advancements in total. But as I just explained, not all of them are doable. For example, I can't eat every food. There's no way for me to get beef in this world. Or a more obvious one is smithing with style, something that I've already complained earlier, which requires me to use these 8 trimmings, which 2 of them I have 0 access to. They're the ones that are basically impossible without breaking the rules. There are a couple that I could do by technically bending the rules. For example, is it a bird? Looking at a parrot through a spyglass, or even adventuring time by entering every biome. There's nothing stopping me from flying over and then potentially picking up the biome by flying over it, or looking at a parrot on a spyglass as I'm flying over it, but that still feels like I'm technically using the resources from those lands, so I made the decision that I'm not going to do that. So what are the 7 that I genuinely think I would be able to do during this time? Well, firstly, I can get every single cat variant as long as they spawn in the village. There is a new one which requires you to make a chisel bookshelf and then use some redstone stuff for it. Post-mortal to die with a totem. There is 3 that are required with a crossbow, and then finally to use an axolotl to kill something. Now, there might be some tricks or ways for me to get other ones here, but again, I'm confident that these are the only 7 that I can potentially get that don't require me to do any dodgy stuff to get them, if that makes sense. So for the time being, let's focus on these 7. First thing to mention on this day 747 is that I got myself a new cat. I only have 3 cats to go and we should be good to go. And then I did something for the first time that I don't think I've done in about 500 days, and that is to get the axolotl out of his cage. I headed over to the drowned ruin that was on the surface, and then I got myself the advancement where an axolotl and myself killed the drowned. And just like that, he went back into his cage and he will not leave there probably for the rest of this video. On day 748, I made myself the new bookshelf. I also remembered about thorns, so I got one of the armor pieces done. I need 15 more levels to get the other one. Now, to be 100% honest with you, I have no idea exactly how to do this bookshelf thing, so you just... Oh, never mind, that was easy. You're back already? Oh my, you must have missed me. So out of the 7 advancements that I said I could get, those 2 were easily the easy ones to get. The other 5 are kind of complicated, and let me explain. As I mentioned, I do have to tame 3 more cats, which is entirely time and luck based, so there's nothing to do but wait for the cats to spawn and then tame them. The other 4 are kind of a pain to do. And now I could get the double phantom kill now, but I like to do all the crossbow ones at the same time. That of course requires a pillager attack. Pillager attack would give me bad omen, which means I would be able to kill a pillager with a crossbow. Obviously get the bad omen, which would trigger a raid, which would give me the chance to get a totem of undying, and then of course I could get the phantom one at the same time as well. Now it is also worth mentioning earlier, I forgot about the advancement hero of the village, so that would make 8 advancements out of a possible 25, so still an extra advancement I could get. But again, all of this stems down to I need myself a pillager attack. Now I am 748 days into this world. Do you want to know how many times pillagers have attacked me on this world? Once. And I'm pretty sure it was in the first 50 days, so my chances of this happening are very, very slim. I will say though, on day 749, whilst I'm not getting the pillagers, my luck with the cats is going great. Another new cat variant and 2 more to go. And with that cat done, the melon castle is calling me. And after doing my thing with the melons that I had built myself a melon castle. You know what would really finish off this melon castle? Of course, a beacon. What else do you expect? Before you commented, by the way, day 750, yes, I'm putting a beacon in a melon castle, so what? Oh, also another meme. Look at all those chickens. Nailed it. Also, I'm pretty sure the strider fell into the water and died. Rip that guy, I guess. What an idiot. Great, do me a favor and make sure to cut out this clip of me nearly dying stupidly. No, great, I said cut it out. Great. So if I'm right, I think this is the 3rd, if not 2nd time that I'm actually in the nether together, killing with the skeletons to get myself a beacon. I mean, this is probably about the 6th or 7th time I've done it in the series. So, did anybody really want to watch that? I'm one is on no. And so an hour passed on day 754, where I got myself the 3rd skull. Nice. And then I got myself a 4th skull, which was really cool. And then I got myself a 5th skull. Like, what are the chances of that? The only problem is I am now basically out of fireworks. I have a solid 1, so I'm gonna have to run back at this point. Using the levels I got on day 755, I got thorns free on my boots. I can now say if I fully maxed out my gear, well, as far as I'm aware. There is a small problem though. I can't put the beacon in the center of the melon castle because it's an even number. So my only real option is to put it in the corner over here. Now, it's a terrible idea. Don't worry. I think I'm gonna fix it later. But for the time being, I give you the melon castle beacon. Sure, why not? I thought on day 756, there is not gonna be a problem killing this Wither. I've killed plenty of them. It isn't gonna be a problem. I had to eat the god apple. If I didn't have the god apple, I would have died. I'll be 100% honest with you, but I was able to kill it. I headed back up. I made the beacon. I changed the villager beacon from green to red because obviously the melon one needs to be green. And of course, it was thunder. Of course. And day 757, it was a great day. I got the melon castle done. And though I will probably work on the interior a little later, I have officially completed it. Also decided to put the skulls on here. Not particularly sure why. And then, just when this day couldn't get any better, it happened. Pillagers. I am such a lucky boy. And only for the 2nd time in this world, just to be clear, 750 plus days in, I had got myself Bad Omen again. On day 758, I decided to do it. I actually triggered it from very far away. I have no idea how I triggered it from over here, but there you go. Now, to be honest with you, with the beacons that I had and the gears that I had, this pretty much was one of the easiest raids I've done in my entire life. The highlight of the whole thing was probably when a Ravager has spawned inside of the axolotl cage and then started drowning to death. That was kind of funny. But whilst going through this raid, I was able to pick up myself 5 totems of the diet, which is really good return, I would say. And just like that, there you go. Hero of the village. Easy as can be. I also did something else crazy on day 758. I actually named my last chest. For all 3 totems, I had finally done it. I also got the banners added to the house. I mean, I have enough ominous banners, so that is good to go. And then, well, there's only really one more advancement I need, and that was to, of course, kill some phantoms. So now we play the waiting game. And it was on day 762, or night 762, I would say. And here's the phantoms. I'm not gonna lie, it took a couple of attempts, but there we go. We had got ourselves the phantom. Oh, I'm an idiot. I never got the freaking pillager one. That was the whole point of that. Oh my god, are you serious? Oh, you're an idiot, Haven. You're an idiot. How do you make these mistakes? You're an idiot. Oh my god. Is it thunder? Alright, well, good day. That was day 763. Thanks for watching. I won't show you every day on day 764, but what I will mention every single day, I am going over to the villager. The first thing that I am doing to see if there's any new cats. There is unfortunately none today, but I just wanted to show you that it was happening. I also decided, thanks to the creeper, among other things, that I really need to add some more light to the island, so I'm planning on changing that. Day 765, and I went straight into the nether. I used my silk touch axe to grab myself a stack of glowstone before heading back. The idea was to make these lamppost kind of things. They weren't anything special, but they'll do the job. I scattered them across the island, hopefully to add a lot more light to stop mobs from spawning. What I did notice on day 766 is that you see Chip's head over there. Why did I not notice that it was like 1 too far back? I don't know why it took me so long to notice that. I thought I could easily fix it by basically getting myself a piston and pushing all 1 blocks forward. The only problem is the inside of the head is hollow, so that's not gonna work. So I moved on to a pretty simple plan B, and that was to remove the back layer and then add an extra layer onto the front, and that should even it out. My dog's just farted and it stinks. Oh my god. Let's try that again. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, it's so bad. It took most of the next day to get it finished, and looking at it, it now definitely is good to go. When I saw a new trader on day 768, I was about to murder him like I just murdered his llamas, but as always, I decided to check the trades, where I saw that I had myself a jungle sapling, and I can't believe I didn't notice it, but I never made myself a jungle island because I've never had jungle trees before. So after buying and saying thank you for the trees, I needed to get myself a few saplings, and so I did myself a little bit of bone meal to get myself some extra saplings. And for the first time in what feels like a while on day 769, I actually went into the caves. Of course, I'm not looking for diamonds or golds. I am, of course, looking for dirt, the real man's treasure. Lucky for me, it's actually quite easy to find dirt down here. Once you do, it's in giant clusters, so it's quite easy to get a lot of dirt quite quickly. That should be enough. Let's head home. And then on day 770, I started working on the new jungle island. I was thinking about it as well, and apart from the dark oak tree, I had now got an island for everyone. So this may be the last time if I don't get a dark oak sapling, or 4 of them, should I say. I can't believe all the things I've done in this world, and I still have got more to do. I got myself the base platform completed by the end of the day, now to work on the underneath area, and I had all of the island completed by day 772. Well, at least the island itself, and I had to get the saplings and the grass on that kind of stuff. I started cutting down more trees. I do need to get myself plenty more saplings to actually get on there. Don't you just love watching tree leaves decay? It's like watching paint dry. It's fantastic. It was taking too long, so I started doing single trees. It didn't speed up the process at all. I spent an extra day cutting down trees, so it was on day 774 where I got myself 20 plus saplings. I got them all planted. I, of course, planted some sugarcane as well. And then I grabbed the usual suspects to make myself a bamboo bridge. And I got a start on the bridge on this day, but it took me until day 775 to actually finish the bridge. I also failed to grow this tree, which is no biggie, but I can't believe that happened. There was also a random cat on the bridge as well. No idea how he got over here. It was unfortunately a duplicate though, so no biggie. I also then tried to fix up my bow, but it did say it's going to require 33 levels to do that, which is just ew. And then I checked on the firework farms again. The sugarcane farm, looking good. The gunpowder farm, oh boy. Iron farm, top notch as usual. Let me just show you how good this is. Not only is the chest chocker full, but literally the hoppers are also chocker full as well. I had to clean out the hoppers to actually give this a chance to actually spawn stuff in, which is just crazy. Note to self, I need to make myself this farm every single 100 days that I need iron. I finally remembered on day 776 that I wanted to actually build the skin over here. I completely forgot about that, and I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of stuck a little bit here. All the projects on the board at this point in time I wanted to save until much later in the video, and so I didn't actually have any current projects, so actually for the first time in forever I was just walking around the island aimlessly looking for something to do. Luckily, every single idea I've ever had I started writing down, so on day 777 I actually came up with a plan to do a big task that I wanted to do ages ago, and that was to kill the Ender Dragon 20 times. So let me just quickly pop into the Nether and run through a tunnel. Then I got lost in a tunnel, and then I'll just quickly get to the end. Let me show you why. You see, this thing is called the End Gateway. There is 2 of them because I've killed the Ender Dragon on 2 separate occasions. Now the max amount that you can get of these are 20, so I wanted to kill the dragon 18 more times and max out each one of them in the end. But how does one spawn the Ender Dragon 18 times? Well, to spawn it one time, you of course only need 4 end crystals. I assume most of you watching this video know, but for the few that don't, this is the crafting recipe for it. However, I'm not wanting to spawn the Ender Dragon 1 time, I'm wanting to do it 18 times, so I need 4 times 18 ender crystals, which, just a quick math for you, that's 72, which means I need to make 72 end crystals, which requires 72 eyes of ender, which requires 72 gas tiers, and though that might be a bit grindy, should be easy enough. I checked what I had that I could potentially put towards it on day 778. I had 21 blaze rods, so that's 42 powder, so we're halfway there on the blaze rods, the easiest thing to have. I did actually have a couple more blaze rods and 2 pills here, but really no tiers and a lot of pills to go. Yeah, I guess we're gonna go into the Nether and start grinding some stuff. So I only needed 12 blaze rods on day 779, so I didn't think that would take long, and well, it didn't. A whole 7 blazes got me the 12 blaze rods I needed. That was the easy one. Let's move on to the harder ones. Next up on day 780 was I needed to get myself about 70 ender pearls, and so I headed towards the warped forest. And although I had that complete on day 782, another future note for myself: stop killing endermen with fire aspect. It is the worst thing you can do. They just teleport away. Just don't use fire aspect. All right, let's move on. Well, there is no easy way to do this on day 783, so Gray, do you mind just doing like a gas killing montage, please? Thank you. And even though the last gas nearly killed me in the process, I have done it. That is 74 gas tiers. I realized I got 2 extra, but who cares? Who cares? That should be everything needed to make these end crystals. Day 792, by the way. That took, what did I start that? 781? That'd take 11 days? God, that took forever. It would have been a lot easier if I actually had the elytra, but I just didn't have the elytra, because obviously I don't have well, I have some good powder now. Should have actually been picking up more as I went along. All right, let's head home and let's do this. I got home by day 793, grabbed myself some food, made myself an anvil, because with a lot of dragons to kill, I really need to be careful about, oh, I can fix my bow quite easily. I must have had it the wrong way around the first time. Anyway, I do need to get myself a tiny bit of sand to make some glass, and we are good to go. Okay, away. Day 794, and we are ready, boys. Let's do this. That could have been really bad. So this is pretty simple. I just need to kill the dragon a bunch of times. I was averaging about 5 minutes every dragon fight, so about 4 dragons per day and night cycle. And so by the 799th day, I had killed the last dragon. And that was dragon 20. Well, 18. But it got me to the 20th dragon kill. But just to make sure, this one with the end stone on it, that could be 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Give it a second, I'm a slow runner. 9, 10, 11. I think that was 11. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Give it a second. 17, 18, 19. And that's number 20, with obviously that being number 1. We've done it, boys. We had killed the dragon a solid 20 times, so that's pretty good. Alright then, I guess that pretty much gets us on. 7.99, by the way, 7.99. That took 5 days. That was literally about 5 minutes per dragon kill, I would say. So, right then, we have a world to go to. Probably just have enough time to get the map in, so let's go ahead and do that. So you know how it is. I got myself 4 maps, I drew them all in, and we are done. Compared to 700, it is very similar, other than the firework farm and chip skin. Yeah, there's very few changes to the map, but we are still there, and now we're over 50% done to 1000, so we still got a long way to go. So I did take a couple of IRL days off between day 700 and 800, so when I returned on day 800, I was just getting myself reassociated with the world. The only real thing I did was I removed the sugarcane quote-unquote farm from over here. I really don't need it anymore. And other than that, I checked a couple of good spots, just a usual basic day for me. But the first thing I had to deal with on day 801 was the fact that I had 0 food. I'm gonna go ahead and grab myself some chicken. Only 10? That ain't enough. I also started putting new ideas on the board whenever I could think of them. And whilst I am doing that, I'm gonna cook up some raw pork chops that I've had sat around for a while. It was another day of me walking around, so yeah, let's just skip this day as well. The more I looked at the beacon in the Melon Castle, and with day 802, the more I realized that it actually looks pretty dumb in the corner. I think the new plan will be, if I can get a second beacon and put them in the front castle thingies, official name I know, then I'd have 2 beams of light shooting up through them, and that would look pretty cool. It does mean I do need to get a second beacon though. For the time being, I will have to move this one. I got the changes done by day 803. I just need to remake the beacon underwater. It's still not fun compared to the first time that I did it, but with the beacon done, I can now show you my favorite part of the day. The moment where I misplaced this glass, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Isn't that cool? On day 804, after grabbing myself a little bit of extra food, I went towards the nether. Quick pause though, you guys remember when I got those 2 extra wither skulls from the last time I went wither skull hunting? Well, at the time, I wasn't aware that that was a thing, so guess who's going to get 3 extra skulls from the wither when he only needs 1? Yes, it be me, of course it is. Turtle's still hanging out in the nether, by the way, just thought I'd let you all know. I got to the fortress by day 805. The first skull I got pretty quickly. Kind of funny to think that I would have been done at this point if I just remembered. And it was only the next day on day 806 where I got myself the second skull, also pretty easy. If it wasn't for the extra hour which took me to day 809 to get the third skull, this would have been quite easy. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Waking up back home on day 811 and I saw it. The 2 skulls hanging on the side of the old villager hut, and though you can't necessarily see it, you could probably hear it. It's me contemplating life. Anyway, after my existential crisis, I went to go and find the wither. Now, the last time I fought this bad boy, I had to eat a god apple. This time, however, I have totems and I actually have a smarter plan. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a ton on a little spot to spawn him, and then I'm just going to spray him down with arrows until he reaches his melee form. It surprisingly went really well. Like, seriously, I barely took any damage, all things considered, and compared to last time, it was a cakewalk. I should do this more often, even if it is the baby way to do it. All right, let's go ahead and make the beacon. Of course, I'm 1 obsidian short. I'm also glass short. How do I not have glass? I mean, it's very easy to fix my glass problem, and oh, it's thundering. Well, I guess I'm back to bed. So I'm back into the caves on day 812. I killed a mob, and look at this chest plate I got. I don't think I've ever had a good chain chest plate before, but there you go. I very quickly mined the one obsidian needed and then headed back up. I made the second beacon and did the very painful job yet again of making the beacon underwater. And with that second beacon made, all is done. I'm gonna say it looks so much better with the second beacon in. And then started the very annoying process of covering the underwater beacons with melons, of course. And by day 813, I had the left beacon covered, but unfortunately for the right beacon, I am out of levens. God, I hope we've got some spare. Oh my god, yeah, I think I'm good. And a little bit of melon placing, and the beacon is covered. The melon castle now has more melons. So as usual, on day 814, I went to go and check out the village. And would you look at that? There's a new cat. And best thing is, it's a new cat variant. I was going back to get fish, and there was another cat in the water, and that was also a new variant. So I tamed the first cat quite easy, and when I tamed the second cat, that was the last of the 11. I had got myself a complete catalog. I got them all in, and here's a little showcase of all 11 of them. Are they fantastic? I think this is legitimately the first time I have got this in a 100 days video, which is kind of cool. Actually, I might have got it in the advancement. Well, let's move on. On day 815, I realized whilst I was storing this stuff away that I think I'm fully done with fish and fully done with melons, which is crazy to think about. I've been using those things for like the past 500 days. Anyway, something I wanted to do literal years ago is I wanted to make my cooker station a bit more automatic. By simply adding the process of adding these hoppers and some chests over here, I can set myself up a pretty simple system so I will never have to restock this ever again. To be 100% sure, I even end up filling it with a bunch of bamboo. If I have to refill this by day 1000, I will be seriously surprised. I spent day 816 just cleaning up a couple of things. There was a couple of things on the island that I wasn't really a fan of, so I just wanted to, well, like I say, clean it up. For example, the scaffolding that was hanging off of the creeper farm. Still not working, by the way, for all 4 people that care. All the caves and cliffs tower. I don't have an elytra, so this is going to be a bit of an annoying thing. The only way I could get up was to do this. Yeah, this is going to take a minute. 5, in fact. By the time we got up to the top, we was digging back down, and it was much quicker, would you believe? By the time I got down, it was the night, and it did actually give me a chance to look at the lighting situation on my island. It did look like there's a couple of spots that needed lighting, like the top of the skull head thingy-mabob. Dr. Haven's classroom also could do with some lights. I'll remember to do that later, but it was on day 817 where I came up with something massive. What you're looking at is my original house that I dubbed the Haven house, and I would like it to be the Haven Tower. Basically, I want to take this tower and build it all the way build limit. It is going to be massive, and so I went up placing the bamboo blocks that I have. The idea was to place a slab each time I was 5 blocks up. That will show where each individual room will be if I decide to go ahead with that. And it did take all day. Worst part is I didn't even have enough bamboo to actually complete it, but you know, we've at least made a start on it. Day 818, and just look how high that is. It's not even close to done, by the way. I also realized I'm going to need a lot of glass and a lot of bamboo to do it, and since I have next to no bamboo and even less glass, this is going to be an awesome time. The good news is over time bamboo will collect itself, so that's pretty simple. So we just got to figure out the glass situation, so it's time to do some maths. I counted that I placed 44 glass on the bottom section, so it's going to be 44 glass every single time that I go up. The tower will go up 253 blocks, and since each section is going up 5, that means there should be 50 sections to the Haven Towers. 50 sections times the 44 glass I need per section means I need 2,200 pieces of glass. That's blocks, by the way. I didn't use paints for some weird reason. Make it simple for you, that's about 34 stacks of glass. Isn't that great? Not even gonna talk about the bamboo. I need so much bamboo. Like, to try and speed up the process a little bit, I ended up just bone mealing a bunch of bamboo as well. It helped a little bit, but not a massive amount. Like, the monumentally big task that this will take is gonna be crazy. For the time being, let me light up the areas that I saw darkness on, so hopefully that will cover the mob spawning. Let me give you a visual representation on day 819 of how much sand I actually need. So you see the shulker? I need to fill the shulker to the brim, but that would only give me 27 stacks of sand. I need this full shulker and then 7 additional stacks of sand to complete my task. I also was able to make an additional 51 fireworks. It's something, I guess. And well, there is no time like the present. Let's head out and dig some sand. The plan was pretty simple on day 820. I was going to fly around the ocean and find sections like this, which is just on the land, and then dig that up. It would make it much easier than actually going into the water and digging sand directly. That would slow me down quite a lot. As I dig even more sand on day 821, there might be some of you thinking, Haven, why don't you just make like a sand dupe duping farm or something. And in theory, yes, that could speed up the process quite a lot. My somewhat weird moral code of right versus wrong makes me think that duping sand or duping items feels a bit cheaty, so I'd just rather dig out the sand. And gotta say, it is going quicker than I expected it to as well. Another new area to dig out on day 822. After digging and collecting the sand, I was actually already done, which was surprising. I thought it was going to take closer to 10 days. It barely took 3. Alright then, let's head home. As I was flying home on day 823, I wasn't actually paying attention to where I was going, and I nearly just flew straight by the island. That could have been funny. And then I started cooking the glass. And now listen, it's literally 34 stacks of glass, so I'm just going to leave it to do its thing and come back later. For now, let me clear out some extra stuff. That's some extra sand too, by the way. I also collected the bamboo at this point. I'm just going to leave it in this chest out front and come back to it later. The ultimate goal is to just get as much bamboo as I can before taking this on again, so yeah, I'll have to come back to that later, like I say. So on day 824, I'll be honest with you, the only thing I really did was add a bunch of things to the board that I wanted to do. I came up with a cool few ideas that I wanted to do, but there is one that stood out to me that I wanted to do straight away. I want to kill the warden. What I realized on day 825 is that I've actually never killed the warden, at least not in the current version of Minecraft. I actually killed a warden before he learned the screech attack in a 1.19 snapshot, but other than that, I don't think I've ever actually killed the warden, so, you know, it's kind of scary. Basically, I'm going to brew all these potions and hope that's going to help me. By the time I was done, here was my gear on day 826. I'm just hoping it'll be enough. And I returned back to the ancient city by day 827. Right then, let's fight a warden. Well, I got him. It wasn't easy, but I got him. Just lucky he fell in that hole. Day 828, and I've got to say, I feel a bit over-prepared. Like, look at all these spare potions that I had. Maybe I just got lucky. I will store them away in the potion chest. You never know, I might be able to use them later for something. It did also cost me 3 totals of dying, so I guess I shouldn't bite a gift horse in the mouth. That's not right. I shouldn't punch a gift horse in the mouth. I think that's the same. But then I went over to the board and changed the sign from kill the warden to make a warden monument, whatever that means. Figured out the catalyst that I got from killing the warden will just go into the totem chest. No need for that chest anymore, let's be honest. I was also looking through my advancements again, and I realized at this point there isn't any realistic advancements that I could get without again bending the rules. Sure, I could confidently say I could scratch that one off the board. The only one I could potentially get is Who's the Pillager Now, but again that would require a pillager attack, which I don't think that's going to happen. What I will do though is I'll quickly hover over the ones that I don't think I can get. You're welcome to look at them and tell me what I could potentially do in the comment section below. Just remember that I recorded this ages ago, so this is all long gone. But as I looked through them at the time, I was confident enough that I wouldn't be able to get any of them, so yeah, there you go. Day 829, and I realized that I never bred the sniffers, and I always wanted to, so I guess I did that now. Soon those 2 sniffers are going to be free. Isn't that neat? Also, I'm going to sound crazy, like I'm pretty sure I'm going to set up a Havenhand conspiracy, but there's definitely something weird going on with the melon castle. Like the amount of times I've looked over and there's just been a missing melon from it, it's like only one at a time or something, but like melons are moving. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe the melon castle is just haunted, but I don't know. I'll probably just sound crazy. On day 830, for the 4 people that care, I am now in version 1.20.1. That's cool, I guess. I decided to make this bridge a bit more fancier to the castle and the mob grinder, so I made myself a bunch of slabs and a bunch of walls. I know I didn't have enough slabs to complete it, and I definitely didn't have enough walls, so I'm going to go ahead and mine myself some extra cobble. And with the bridge completed on day 831, I began collecting something that I never thought I would collect in Minecraft, and that is soul sand. I want to set myself up a basic nether hub, and using soul sand actually seemed like the best way for me to do that. On day 832, I started building the main hub area. I am going to need some extra nether bricks, so I quickly returned to the nether fortress and mined a bunch of that out. And on day 833, with plenty back, I started building. Let me tell you that this hub was really basic. It had nether wart blocks as the floor. The walls were a mix of nether bricks and red stained glass. The corners were quartz pillars, and the roof was, well, that. Also forgot to bring in a crafting table, so I had to leave and come back, so that was fun. Here's Here's the completed version on day 834. Again, basic, but I really don't care. The thing is, that was actually the easy part. Now I've got to make some paths towards the two locations I want to go to, and yeah, that's not going to be easy. They are both at least 300 blocks away, though they are in the same direction, so I started building a tunnel towards them with soul sand floors so I can run across them quickly. Before anybody comments, why don't I just use ice? I couldn't think of a way to get ice, is the simple answer I can give you. Day 837, and here's what I've got so far. Starting at the fortress, you can run across this soul sand. I will need to make it much safer, but at least it's a start. Up until you get to here. Now, up there, you can't get there at the moment. I will put in some ladders, but up there is the nether portal that will lead you to the stronghold. And following the path back even further, you will get back to the main portal. Pretty nifty, right? The plan is to make a tunnel basically using this design that I'm showing you here, with bricks and glass on the side and quartz slab up top. That's all I got done by the end of the day. For now, I'm asleep. I carried on working on day 838. It was at this point that this task was much bigger than I originally expected it to be. I was about 10% done with the overall task, and I was completely out of resources. So yet again, it was back to the fortress to mine more bricks. Hey, with a skeleton. Of course, it drops a skull. The first thing I decided to do on day 839 was to get the rails in over the sides of the bridges that go over lava so I don't accidentally falling and die. That would kind of suck. Shout out to the skeleton who took that personally, by the way, and rest in peace, homie, you shall be missed. The most annoying thing about doing this was definitely the mobs getting in the way all the time. Like, it must have happened 4 or 5 times for me overall, but it was just such a pain. But yet again, I was just consistently running out of resources, so I had to go back and grind some more, and I'm just gonna skip the grind here. Here is the completed version by day 845. This trapdoor leads you down into the main nether if I ever want to go in there. Running through the actual tunnel itself, the ladders are now in. I'll just show you up here that this is the main portal to the stronghold. And again, if you follow this path down, it's a very safe path all the way to the nether fortress. It's clean, it's simple, I like it. Let's move on. Though I was thinking on day 846 that I can't really move on until I make this as good as possible. As you can see, my boots currently have soul speed 1 on them, and I was thinking that if I can get soul speed 3, I could get through these tunnels insanely quickly. Now, there is only 2 ways to actually get this enchantment, which is bastions and bartering, so let's start by bartering. I don't know why I bothered, to be honest with you. This was a waste of time like usual. I had literally a stack of gold to trade, and they gave me soul sand and obsidian. Who needs iron nuggets? Have you not seen the iron farm, my guy? You want to know the insult to injury? Once they just didn't give me anything, I ended up killing them, and they both dropped soul speed 1 iron boost, which is just, it couldn't be more useless if they tried to be. God, I hate them so much. And so on day 847, I returned to a long forgotten bastion that I haven't searched in a very long time. The hope was that I left a soul speed book in one of the chests, figured that I never needed it. I mean, let's be honest, what, 500 plus days ago, why would I need soul speed? Although there was definitely some goodies that I left over from the chest during this time, unfortunately, there wasn't a soul speed books. Lucky for me, on day 848, there was a second bastion quite close by. And after heading over and heading to the main room, there was actually a book that I left behind. Unfortunately, it was only soul speed 2. I originally thought that was quite unlucky until I got really lucky. Basically, I was digging for a new area to find new chests where I found this enclosed area where I found a chest that had a soul speed 1 book in. By combining the books together, I should be able to get soul speed 3 pretty easy. Also got a sharpness 5 iron sword, isn't that nice? By the time I got home on day 850, I started combining. Turning this soul speed 1 to soul speed 3, by the way, cost me 42 levels. To be fair though, look at that speed, baby. Oh yeah, play that Sonic music. And that is the nether hub 100% completed. I finished today by collecting some more bamboo and starting one of the towers. I may have underestimated the amount of bamboo I'll actually need for this. This is going to be a monumentous task. The next task I decided to take up on day 851 is I would like to get myself a really easy access to levels, and so I'm going to go and set myself up an enderman farm. The thing is, the enderman farm that I know unfortunately requires a lot of leaves, so I'm going to have to wait a minute and just shear a bunch of trees until I can get them all. It took an extra day, but here we are on day 853, and here's all the materials that I need. The soul speed, by the way, totally worth it. Look how fast I'm going. And so I began the enderman farm straight away. I'll show you the basics, like making a pillar to Y0, getting over 100 blocks out, building the platforms and stuff. It was a slow process, but I was just following the tutorial again. Here is the fully completed version by day 856. I do need to make the bridge a bit safer, but other than that, it is good to go. Let me just say, by the way, it's very, very loud. Insanely loud. I also don't think I'm using the right sword for it because I'm not getting that many kills. I think I need to get Sweeping Edge or something. I decided to make it safer straight away on day 857. I collected a bunch of slabs, made a couple of anvils, traded a couple of bookshelves, and I also wanted to make myself an Enderman murdering sword, but I need to get Sweeping Edge as I just said, so I am going to have to go and set up a villager to do that. At this point in time, I didn't actually have a villager that traded. Oh, never mind. There we go. Day 858, and I got the books that I needed. I combined it with the sword that I got at the Bastion, and then I found llamas, but I couldn't find myself a wandering trader. And then I found him. Dark oak saplings, you say? Well, don't mind if I do. Anyway, it was back to the end. The first thing I did was set up a platform and set up an enchanting place. Do you guys think I have enough anvils? I don't know if I have enough. Maybe I should go back and make some more anvils. I don't know. I had the safety rails done by day 859, and then I noticed that my enchant setup is missing something quite important, a grindstone. So now I have to go all the way back home to make a grindstone to run all the way back to place the grindstone. Very dumb, I know. I got back on day 860, and with the grindstones down, I must say, the Sweeping Edge enchantment that I put on the sword is definitely an improvement. Like, this iron sword is killing at least 3 times what the netherite sword was. Like, I was back to 30 levels, probably less than 2 minutes. This is a great farm. The only problem is actually getting from the Enderman farm back home is a serious trek. Like, seriously, I counted. It took me 4 minutes from when I set off to the Enderman farm to get back home. That's just too long. I might want to look at that in the future. I was happy to knock another one off the board on day 861. Next up, I want to make the Dark Oak Tree Island. And let me tell you something about Dark Oak trees. Obviously, as most people know, you need 4 saplings to grow them. But if memory serves me well, they don't actually drop that many saplings from the leaves that they have. And that's why I decided to buy 4 more and then start farming them. I don't know if they made the changes in 1.20, but they actually did drop a lot more saplings than I expected to. By the end of the day, after chopping trees all day, I actually got myself 33 saplings, which is a good turnaround. And the plan on day 862 was to start the new island. Unfortunately, I only had 27 dirt. So pretty much my entire day was heading back underground and digging up a bunch of dirt. And so on day 863, I immediately took a bit of a shortcut here. There was some land near the islands already that was quite high to the surface, so I decided to just make most of the island on there already. It didn't stop me from making quite a chunky island. I'm pretty sure this is the biggest of the islands I've made so far. But by the end of the first day of building, I actually got a decent amount done. On day 864, I got the bottom of the island done. Most of these islands connect to the floor on like a sort of tile kind of thing. This particular one more of like a hangy thing, like it's got a little bit of a cove underneath it. Still works for what I wanted to do with it. Anyway, I got the saplings down. I began lining up the bridge. The only problem was I was surprisingly out of bamboo for some reason. Don't know how that happened. Here's what I did on day 865. Was a good day. To be fair, by day 866, I did have a third of the chest still, so it was actually a pretty good option, all things considered. And now I can actually make this bridge. Now, this bridge was actually slightly bigger than the other bridges, but that's just the way it would have lined up. It would have been stupid if I did it otherwise. And the bridge was pretty basic to build. I made myself some lanterns, got them in there, and that island is now done. There is only one more to go with the mangrove. Let's hope I get that sapling. On day 867, with the spare bamboo that I collected during that time, I decided to start working on the third pillar to the Haven Towers. Every time I get to the top of one of the pillars, by the way, and I'm out of bamboo, I just realized that I really shouldn't have made it this big. This was a bad idea. Well, from one big build to another, I decided that I wanted to build a somewhat warden statue. But with the design that I found that I wanted to use, I'm going to need a lot of blackstone, so it was back to the nether, and then it was to a basalt biome. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be here for a while. I need quite a few stacks. Day 868, and yeah, I definitely got myself quite a few stacks. I also was heading home, I stopped and grabbed a couple of warp trees. I mean, I have to use it for the design as well, so I'll definitely grab that. The last thing I needed to set up this build on day 869 was a couple of blocks from the ocean monument, but that's gonna be fun. So I made my way back over to it. Forgot about this villager in the middle of the water. Don't worry, bro, I'll come back for you at some point. Whilst I was there and mining up the blocks, I made a terrible discovery. I thought I need prismarine blocks. It turns out you need dark prismarine blocks. And the only way to make that is with black dye and 8 prismarine shards. That would give you 1 prismarine block. I need over 3 stacks of it. It would probably take me over 100 days just to get these blocks to the amount that I needed anyway, so I decided that I'm just going to move on to plan B and make a new design. And I got one. Now you might be wondering, why is it day 873? And the simple answer was I wasn't recording collecting the materials I need for it. Somehow this is Gray's fault. I don't know why, so come on Gray, do better. Well, it was time to to work. For the most part, this build was just a pixel art of the warden's face, and then I was going to put something in front of it to symbolize the catalyst, but for the most part, I was just copy and pasting from another YouTube video. Here is the completed version half an hour later, or day 876. It's not what I originally wanted, but to be honest with you, I actually think it looks pretty good. And now for the catalyst. Now, if it's up to me, this thing is never going to see fresh air again in its entire life, so we'll keep it caged down here. And that is the Warden Monument done. Let's just clear out my inventory and clear that off the board, and we are done for the day. I haven't really mentioned this yet, but in day 877, I just want to let you know that it's like really good feeling to knock something else off of the board. Like, these are all big tasks, so knocking them off one by one was definitely a satisfying thing to do. Well, another bamboo trip up into the sky was on the cards. Up I go, and yet again I'm out. Now, this jump was definitely completely unnecessary, and I didn't realize at the time that I didn't actually have a totem in my offhand, so that could have been really, really dumb. But, you know, I'm too much of a pro gamer to die like that. The next task up, I want to get myself some banner patterns. Still here, by the way, just inside my office. Banner patterns are a preset pattern that you can get in Minecraft that you can apply to banners. I guarantee 99% of you have never used one. Though it appears that there's 2 extra versions in Bedrock, there is 5 versions that you can get in Java Edition. There is the Snout version that you can collect in Bastions, the Thing version, which you can craft using a God Apple, the Skull version, which you can use crafting a Wither Skull, the Creeper version, which you need a Creeper Skull for as well, shocker I know, and the Flower version, which you need an Oxide Daisy for. Starting this challenge, I already have the Creeper and Wither Skull, so that was easy. I have also picked up a Snout pattern along my time, so that was also pretty good. The other 2 is going to be a massive pain to do, but I'll come back to that in a second. This may also be the first ever time that I've used a loom in Minecraft, at least to my recollection, and well, let's just say that I didn't know what I was doing here. Day 878, and once I knew what I was doing, I made the 3 banners straight away. The other 2 banners I need, well, here we go. So as I mentioned, I need either a God Apple or an Oxide Daisy to actually complete this, and both of them are pretty hard to do under the current circumstances. When it comes to getting a God Apple, the only reasonable way I could do it is to go back to one of the ancient cities I've found and hope that there's still a God Apple sat around there. That, or I have to find a new ancient city, which is just such a difficult task. However, I still think that would technically be easier than actually getting the Oxide Daisy. Unfortunately, they only spawn in biomes like plains and flower forests, so unfortunately, like beach and oceans, they just don't want to spawn in for some weird reason, even if you bone meal. So the only choice I've got is wandering traders have a chance to trade them, but that's a very slim chance to say the least. So getting either of these 2 by the end of the 1,000 days is definitely going to be a difficult task. We'll give it a go though. For now, I'm just going to focus on the bamboo. As you can see on day 879, I have a lot of bones to go through, and I can't really think of another reason why I would need bone or bone meal, so I'm just going to sit here for a while, and I'm pretty much just going to bone meal all the bamboo. I ended up adding more copper minecarts underneath to actually collect more up as well. I'm going to be 100% honest with you from this point. For the next hour or so, I pretty much just stood here and held right click. The only time I looked at my screen was to replace the bone meal. Otherwise, I was on my phone, I was looking at something else. I was just trying to get as much bamboo as possible. After an hour had passed on day 885, and this was the bamboo that I got, and boy was it quite a lot. All of the work that I put in for 7 stacks of bamboo blocks. I wasn't even 100% sure if it'd be enough, but I'm willing to give it a go. Well, up I go again on day 886, this time with a water bucket. So we went up and got to the first sky limit on one of the builds, and then I did something really dumb. Nah, admittedly, it could have gone better. Well, up we go yet again. Alright then, take 2. Man, I just suck at this. The thing is, that was technically the small jumps. Now let's do the big one. Nailed it! And up we go one more time. All right, you know, we hit the 3rd one. That was the impressive one. Let's just move on. I wish I'd tell you that my big brain knew exactly how much bamboo blocks I needed. This was the exact perfect amount I needed to get all 4 pillars to sky limit. I'm completely out of bamboo at this point. And again, I really wish I told you that I did that on purpose. I did not. Didn't need to risk the jump again, but man, we move on. The thing that I remembered on day 887 is that the pillars were only part of the puzzle. I still need so much more bamboo for the actual walls, and it did also remind me that all the glass would have now cooked, so I collected it all. Decent amount, I would say. Also got myself some better snacks. I really wanted to upgrade from these terrible carrots. All the 8s, day 888, and you know what the Dark Oak Island is missing? It is missing big mushrooms, and so I needed to go and get myself some. Now, I was checking out my storage area. It looks like I did have a brown mushroom sat around, but I didn't have any red ones for whatever reason. I guess there's no reason for me to collect red mushroom. You get the point. And so I went back into Nether hunting for red mushrooms. Did I expect it to take me 45 minutes to find red mushrooms? mushrooms? Absolutely not. But here we are on day 890 collecting the red mushrooms. I got back home by night. I got a single stack of bones left over and I got lucky with that one. I thought I used them all. And well, let's get them down. The red mushroom was as easy as can be. The brown one, it just didn't want to work. I don't know why I just decided that it didn't want to do it. I tried waiting until the night to get it to work. Hopefully I can get some more darkness in. I might be able to grow it. And I got there in the end, but it was much more annoying than it should have been. Day 892 and it was map day. It's a bit earlier than I was planning to, but I had a big plan coming up, so I wanted to do it early. I got the 4 maps recorded. I did have to collect a little bit of cherry logs because obviously I wanted to use that for the board and I literally had 0 somehow. And this was the 900 day board. The warden kind of looks funny on the map, I will say that. You can definitely tell there's a new island down there, which is pretty cool. You can also tell that something is happening to the main Haven house. Hopefully it'll become more noticeable that the Haven Tower's in, but yeah, that's all I did for now. And then for the big decision on day 893, I really want fireworks again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to AFK up top and wait until at least 900 days, which should be close to about 2.5 hours. Hopefully that will spawn some more gunpowder in. I guess we'll check on day 900. And we're back. Day 900, here we are. Still in the skies. I'm hoping for the love of God we actually got some gunpowder. That'd be nice. I'll be honest with you, I'm technically on a different day right now. Real life day. I sort of left my game playing and then turned it off to play another day. So I don't really know how good or bad this will be. I'm hopeful though, because I really miss the ability to fly around. Here we go. That's not a lot. I'm not gonna lie, that's not a lot. I left it for about nearly 3 hours. That's not a lot. Yikes. Why is this door gone? What happened to the door? Where's our creeper? What is happening? Have I just lost the door? What happened in a couple of days that I've been gone? No, I just don't have a door anymore. Alright, whatever. I don't really need one. So, looking at the board, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tasks available for me to do. I think that these 6 tasks, I will be able to do them all in the next 100 days. I'm hoping Haven Towers won't be too bad, but that's just entirely dependent on bamboo, so we'll check that out in a second. The banner pans might be a bit of a pain as well, but I can roughly remember where our foundation city is, so I'm going to see if I can get those. I guess we're just going to start doing stuff and take it from there. Where we are in 900 days, I have done so much. Like, I can compare that to the 100-day board. It is crazy how much is actually on this board. There's still more space to do stuff. Like, I can do stuff over here. Why is... You don't have Among Us. I'm going to fix that quickly. And back in. But this is it. This is the final stretch. We have 100 more days to go. And then this world will have been alive for 1,000 days, which is crazy to think about. I do have some big tasks before then, so let's get straight into it. The first thing I did on 901 was check how much bamboo I had, and yeah, it was a decent amount. I turned it all into planks and then used other kinds of wood to make a bunch of ladders. The plan was to make a ladder system that went all the way up to the top and would make it so much easier to get up and down and build the rest of the tower. I yet again did not have enough bamboo to make it all the way to the top, so that was fun. And going down with ladders like this, yeah, I would never recommend it to any of you. So I think we can agree on day 902 that under normal circumstances, I'm never going to get enough bamboo to complete the tower. And so I decided that I'm just going to personally speed up the process. How am I going to do that? Simple. I'm going to use bone meal. I didn't have any bones at the time though, but the nether is right there and the nether does have bone blocks, so that's going to be pretty good to do. I spent 3 days in the nether collecting bone blocks. I had collected a grand total of 11 stacks at this point. I was hoping that surely should be enough for me. And when I got back on day 906, I started bone mealing all of the bamboo. It was very loud, and so I muted my game. So, y'all ready for this? Day 910, been a good 45 minutes since I started this. It's a decent amount of bamboo, I would say. No, not too bad, you know, pretty good, all things considered. What's that? It's like 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. With more bamboo flowing in because they're just chock full. From 10 stacks of bone blocks, that's a decent amount. But if you think that's all I've got, here's a couple of chests and yeah, decent amount of bamboo in there and a decent amount of bamboo there, and 10 stacks of bone blocks are pretty much half built the Haven Tower, I would say. So it's definitely a good start. It's also good to know that if I ever want to, I can just bone or block it up and then get enough. So now it's really going to be a case of building. So I guess we can get to work finally. So let's make some more bamboo, and then let's make some bamboo. After that, I'll make some more bamboo, and well, bamboo. 16 stacks of bamboo blocks later, and let's see what we can do. First things first, let's get the ladders finished off. And I carried on working on the tower on 911. Don't do it. Don't make the joke. We all thought of it. Just don't do it. And with the ladders now completed, well, technically I was free short, but that's really not an issue. I wanted to place at least one block on each level to show where the floors are supposed to be, and boy, was that fun. done. By the end of the day, I did just that, so we can now actually start working on the floors themselves. So a little bit of a showcase on day 912 and how exactly I'm doing it, leaving a 4x4 in the middle, so eventually I can put some glass in. I added some bamboo to the bottom layer of each floor before adding 2 layers of glass to the wall to make a wall pattern that looked like this. Every single room from here to the sky limit will look exactly like this, and I'm not going to show all of that. Instead, we're going to have to do a building montage. So, look how far we've come, look how far we still have to go, and look how little bamboo that I have. I have 1 slab. All of that work, all the bone mealing, and I don't have enough bamboo. I don't even know if I'd have enough glass, now that I look at it, because I've still got to go up. I mean, I counted out the glass. I'm surprised I won't have enough glass. It's a monumental task, to say the least, and after going up for... what day are we currently on? 9/16. So we've been doing this for the last 4 days. Yeah, kind of concerning that I may have to get more glass and I may have to get more bamboo, because the thing is, I still don't have the flooring in. I guess I could maths it out and work out exactly how much bamboo I need, but then the flooring and stuff. This, I don't know why I decided to do this. It was a cool idea at the start, but now here I am, after bone mealing, literally 12 stacks of bone block, and I am probably still gonna need a solid 10 stacks of bamboo. This is gonna be awful. Anyway, let's do some maths. So there's 25 blocks per wall needed. They're both 2 blocks high, so I need obviously 2, so that's 50 per section. There's 30 sections left that I need to do, which means I need myself 1,500 bamboo planks. There's also 58 sections that I need for the floor, 30 pieces of wood per floor, so that makes another 1,740 planks needed. In total, I need 3,240 bamboo planks to complete this, or about 50.5 stacks of bamboo planks. I don't regret this at all. This was a good idea. I did more maths on day 917. On screen is exactly how much bamboo that I needed. To give you an idea of how much that is, this double chest has 54 stacks. I need to fill that 4 times, and I still wouldn't even have enough. At least the tower looks kind of cool, and it will only look cooler once I get it done. The plan was to get straight to it. I made as much fireworks as I could. It was only 3 stacks, but it was going to be a lot better than just running around the nether. And then I returned to the nether and started bone block mining away again. And by the end of the 4th day, I got myself 15 stacks of bone blocks, which was definitely a good amount. I was going to go a little bit further, but not too much, since my firework reserve was going to run out pretty soon, and I really didn't want to get stuck in here. On day 922, and I feel like we've been here before, repeating the same thing over and over again. Guys ever seen Groundhog's Day? You know, when I started this adventure, I didn't think that when we got to the 900-day mark, it would turn so grindy, and yet it seriously has. So we're now on day 928. We're actually about halfway through. We've done a decent amount, and as you can see, it's got like no bamboo in it. That's because I've got all this bamboo, and I got all that 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 bamboo, and I got glass. Nice. What I'm planning to do is, if I just have all the items on the floor, I could just do this. Didn't think this bit through immediately. It's fine. Don't worry. Give me a second. Oh, there's so much bamboo on the floor. Oh, there. Let's try this again. No, you... Why did you do that? God damn it. This plan worked better in my head. Just want to make that clear to everybody involved. Right, let's try this again. So much bamboo. You did it again. Okay, right. We're going to go to plan B here. This is not worked out how I wanted it to. If I've done the maths right, this should be enough. I worked out that I need 25.3 blocks of bamboo to get this done. This is about 27, so there should be enough bamboo to complete this. Just hoping I've got enough glass. I think I do. Oh, it is open. Anyway, 929 is here, and great. Just do the thing. And we are up top. So pretty much I'm fairly confident the bamboo will be good. I haven't done the walls, just because I feel like it'd be easy to just go up with the walls when that time comes. But I do have pretty much all the bamboo I'll ever need. I'm fairly confident that'll still be enough for bamboo. So now what we got to do is get enough glass to fill all these center four in, and then get enough glass to go all the way up. So I'm afraid I'm gonna have to go ahead and do some maths again. Oh boy, who would have thought our Minecraft video would be so educational with math? So I counted 19 walls that still needed glass and 54 floors that still needed glass. The 4 glass needed per floor, that's 216 glass. The 52 walls, that's an additional 988, which means I still need 1,204 pieces of glass, or nearly 19 stacks worth. I also finally fixed my bow. That thing was gonna break any day now. Anyway, let's fly around and get ourselves some glass. Found a nice little place to start digging, and so I did. And then on day 935, I did a little bit more digging. And on day 936, I might have gone overboard a little bit, but that's fine. We can finally fly home, start cooking away. It is definitely going to take a minute, so whilst I am waiting, I am going to go ahead and trade a bunch of iron. Why? That's a good question. Why did I want the village trade? What was I just about to do? Why am I here? What was I about to do? I was about to do something. Why am I here with emeralds? What was I about to... I don't know what I'm doing here. Alright, well, I guess we'll scrap that plan. I don't get a clue. Oh, I remember what I wanted to do. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. I remembered. I wanted wool, and quite a lot of it, and trading iron and melons seemed like the most simple way to do it. The only problem was they was maxing out really quickly, so I'm gonna have to find a new way to do this. So I started trading with as many farmer villages as I could on day 937. I bought so many apples. I was getting PTSD from the first 100 days. The problem wasn't the emeralds. I had plenty of that. It was just the fact that I was consistently stuck with one trader of white wool. And so every single time I was just maxing him out, and then I was just having to wait for him. I could trade 16 at a time. So to give you an idea of how long this was taking, by day 940, I only had 3 stacks of white wool. I also finally added the final enchant to my sword, Sweeping Edge. Now I can officially say all my gear is maxed out on enchants. Rest in peace all those levels, though. I mean, cost a lot. So anyway, it was finally time for me to build my boy, and so I got to work. So I got back to work on day 941, and before I knew it, I was out of wool. Yeah, this is definitely going to take a while. So I began trading pretty much straight away. The problem is I just couldn't be bothered to wait around again, so my plan was kind of simple. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna max out the trades the best I could, and then I'm gonna go ahead and build a little bit on the wool guy. After that, I'm gonna head back to the villager and hope that the trades are done, and keep going back and forth until I've actually completed my build. Spoiler alert, it was a very painful process. But here is the finished product on day 943, a wolfy boy. I can't tame a wolf, so I may as well build one. I shall call him Paxton. Nah, Colin Paxton. Now, somebody will get that joke, trust me. Now, with all this cut glass, I should be able to finish off the tower. So, for the time being, Gray, charge it up for the last time. And from crazily underestimating it to honestly crazily overestimating it, I ended up with over 2 stacks of bamboo spare and over 2 stacks of glass spare as well. I don't know how I did that, but anyway, we move on. But the Haven Tower is done, mostly. You see these little slabs now? Basically, I just want to get them going all the way around, so that's going to be a bit of a pain, but that is the last thing that I have to do. 3 days into this project, by the way, and we're still not done. Anyway, let's finish this. So that's the first wall done. That's the front wall done. Took me about 15 minutes, I would say. So we're taking 15 for here, 15 for here, 15 for here, and 15 for here, and this is the next hour of my life. Cool. Well, no time like the present. Wait, is this the water side? Wait, it's the water side. I should be more careful about doing that, even though I have the tokens, like, seriously. I just have enough bamboo to do this, but we're done. That's all 4 sides done, I believe. Let me just quickly check. So this side is good. This side is good. This side is definitely good. Yep. And of course, this side is good. Fantastic. All right, then. That's all 4 of them done. That took an hour. It admittedly wasn't too bad. I no longer have to touch bamboo or glass for a very long time, and I'm very appreciative of it. Right, then. I think I'm going to go ahead and stop building this. We're in the final countdown of 50 days. I believe the water is this side. Probably should have been more careful. Definitely should have been more careful. But what I can do is, first up, make a wolf. I've done so. And then Haven Towers is also done so. So there's only 3 really things I want to do. The battle patterns, I don't think I'm going to have time, so I'm just going to get rid of that one now. And that one's fine. But Hall of Haven, got to build that. That's just going to be a monument to the island. The minecart track / monorail, that's probably going to be the next big thing I work on. And the Mangrove Island entirely depends on wandering trader spawning it. But I'm going to be 100% honest with you, I just don't think that's going to happen at this point. So next up, let's check our quartz situation. So it was day 952 where I went back to the Nether to mine some quartz. And believe it or not, that's what I did when I got in there. To be 100% honest with you, thanks to the fortune among other things, it was actually quite an easy adventure. I pretty much half filled the shulker by the end of the day, and by the end of day 953 I had filled the shulker completely. Very easy stuff. I began flying home, but as you can see I have now run out of fireworks, so I'm going to have to run back. It wasn't really that much of an issue or anything. I did also run out of food at this point, so it was definitely a good time to call it quits. Lucky for me, on day 954 food is something I had plenty of. Look at all that chicken. Again, somebody will get that. Also, there's holes in the melon castle again. Why does this keep happening? I mean, I've actually looked into it. Melons don't decay. What's going on here? This day originally would have been a write-off, but then it happened. Pillagers! I could actually get the advancement that I wanted to. And after getting Who's the Pillager Now, I went through the advancements one last time, and I can confidently say that I have got every single advancement that I can get without bending any rules. So, go me. So I wasn't thinking much on day 955, and I accidentally triggered a raid. I'm going to be honest with you though, this raid couldn't be less scary if it tried. I ended up just spawning a bunch of iron golems and just letting them deal with it. It did knock off the right side to the maps on the 300-day board. It was already broken, but that just made it worse somehow. Also, who do you think is going to win this fight? 7 iron golems or 1 Vexy boy? Oh, it was the golems. Huh, I've seen that one. Take the 3 tomes, by the way. What I realized on day 956 is that the amount of times that I've actually just looked around my island for just a new spot to build something must add up to about 20 days at this point. I look around so much. But the plan was to start my new build here, and I'm going to build a monorail ring around the island. So you remember that shulker that was full of quartz? I was planning to use that to make a rail all the way around the bottom, as well as making a sort of killer thing underneath it so it like goes all the way around. The problem was, after using all the quartz, I only got about halfway done, so that's not good. I realized I was wrong though on day 956. It turns out I only used half of the quartz at this point, so I was able to get back to work. I could have done it quicker, but I was really worried about overshooting it, so what I decided to do was basically start again at the start but go the other way around. That way I don't accidentally misline something. But anyway, I got the main ring completed, though I am pretty much out of quartz at this point. Falling in the lava was a bit unnecessary, admittedly, and as I was typing up some notes, there was an iron golem speaking in the background. That pretty much sums up 956, and I have spoken. Day 957, and I think I have enough rails, if I do say so myself, so I started working on placing rails. And just like that, I am out of rails. Definitely underestimated how many I need. The good news is, though, I have a little bit of spare iron, just a couple of pieces here or there. Took me until day 959 to finish the railing. Now I can move on to putting down some powered rails. The plan was to put the rails on each of the corners and hope that that would be enough to push them through, but I also thought if I put them in the middle as well, just to give them that extra push, that should be enough to get them through. As I say, I will need more quartz to actually put down the pillars underneath it to actually make it look like it's holding itself up, but for the time being, I will at least finish the rails. And it was on day 960 where it was finally time to test out the rail system. It was mostly fine, but I could definitely tell the longer sides of the rail definitely need more powered rails because I was running out of steam towards the end. I can do that in a second. For the time being, I really need to get some more quartz, so I returned back to the Nether. It was by day 962 where I was able to fill out another shulker. That should definitely be enough to do as much as I want to do. And so at day 963, I went around placing the powered rails this time. Hopefully it will be enough if I put them in the right locations. It admittedly was quite a slow process, but when I tested by the end of the day, I'd definitely say it worked like a charm. Well, almost. I think I need one more booster towards the end of the railway, but other than that, it should be good to go. And I added the booster on day 964. I'm fairly confident it'll work now when I next test it. The last thing to do to complete this monorail was to add the pillars underneath the powered rails, so I got to work. The last rail was done by day 966. It's time for a test ride. Alright then, let's go for a little bit of a ride. So what you do is, firstly you turn down the game because it's very loud, but you just press that button and it takes you around. You can have a good, nice outline of my island. Once you get past the butt of Chips, just ignore his butt. Obviously, you have each of the islands and all their grown. That's kind of what's going on over here. I really like the jungle. I feel like the jungle islands come across quite well, I must say. Disappointed to get mangrove, but I mean, what can you do at this point? Up next, you see Villager Isle. There's the nitwit that I got all the way on day, I don't even know, like 60. My God, remember when I had that guy? That was totally fun. Honestly, I don't even know why I put like bookshelf things down for. They're not bookshelves, lecterns down for them. That was kind of not my smartest move, but you know, what can you do? You see the butt of the dog, the melon castle. To the right, you've got the Warden statue monument thing and the completely, totally working mob grinder. The semi-auto farm that, since I've built much more efficient ones, I realize how terrible it actually is. I'm pretty sure there's still a sunken ship like right there. I got that ages ago now. Feels like an eternity since I first got that. Then you have the automatic aisle, so you've got the sugarcane farm there. You've got the quote-unquote creeper farm. You have the iron farm. There's the multi-layered beacon. There's the chicken farm there. And as we approach the last corner, you'll have Dr. Haven's school, his classroom, and obviously the lava pitteroonie for the what do you call him? Strider. There you go, Strider. Among other things. Honestly, good addition. I'm really, really grateful I did it. The only thing is, I don't know how exactly I would do it. I guess I could put a button now, because then he just takes you on, and you just keep going. Obviously, I don't want to do that, though, so... Oh, no, I want you. And with that done, on day 966, with the sun halfway through the day, and that is one of the last 2 big tasks that I wanted to get done on this island. In fact, I only have 3 tasks left. Obviously, you've got the monorail minecart track. I can now officially get rid of that altogether. God, this is a good day. Mangrove Island, let's be honest, the chance of me getting another wandering trade that also has the mangrove sapling, I don't think will happen at this point. So it may be the only task that I will be able to do, which is kind of sad, but considering everything else that I've done on this island, I can't really be sad about that. I mean, seriously, you can't look anywhere on this island without seeing something new and cool, so that's kind of cool. And then finally, Hall of Haven. I've had this on the board for a very long time. Probably some people are like, what the hell is the Hall of Haven? Basically, I just want to build like I don't even know the correct term for it, but like a monument to every accomplishment I've done and put down some cool statistics that I've, you know, had during the times. Just basically like a final celebration for everything that I've done, because, you know, in the next couple of hours, I'm done. All of this work, all of this recording, all this will be the last time I go on this island, and it's in a way, it's bittersweet, because obviously, you know, I've done a lot on this island, and the next couple of hours it'll be done. So, I guess, once the new day hits, because the sun's about to hit, you can look past the giant tower, and we'll start the Hall of Haven. Now, where we're going to build that? Oh god, we'll have to spend a couple of days figuring that out. Day 967, and it was time for the final build, and we need to make ourselves something fancy. So I started by using the remainder of the quartz I had to make myself a nice flooring. I then began planning it out, making sure it was an odd number because I wanted a center block. It was onto the walls on day 968. I used dark oak for the first time because I've never used that in this world, and though I did have to do a little bit of reworking because I accidentally miscounted one of the lengths, I was able to extend it and keep on working. I will say on day 969 it's so much easier to just use glass panes. You get so many of them and it's just so much easier to play. This was a joy. I'm so grateful I never have to place glass blocks again. My god. So day 971, and here's the roof. Yes, it does look awful. I'm not pretending it doesn't, but I do actually need it to look like that because I need to hide myself a sign. Let's get some iron blocks. And I introduce to you the completed build of the Hall of Haven. It's not great, but I think it works. I just really wanted to fill it up with some interesting stats that I was able to do across the time that I was here. I was still adding stats by day 973. It was actually kind of fun to go through and look at some of the statistics that I was able to pull off during this time. The legitimate last thing that I wanted to do was just to get a beacon and put it in the Hall of Haven. So for the absolute last time, let's run into the Nether and get ourselves some wither skulls. I'm gonna skip this process because we don't need to see it again, but here we are on day 973 where I got not 1 but 2 wither skulls, getting me to 4 wither skulls, which I thought was pretty cool. Well, it's time to head home. I did get a little bit distracted on day 980, but I was able to fight the wither. I used the same tactic as last time by shoving him in a cave and then just spray spraying him down with arrows. As soon as he got close to me, I just spammed him with my sword. He barely did any damage to me. I mean, even whilst I was AFK and typing notes here, he still was doing damage, but I was never going to die here, not even close. The greatest thing I realized on day 981 is there's going to be a day very soon where I won't have to build a beacon underwater, and let me tell you, it'll be a good day. And then something happened that I genuinely never expected. I ran out of iron blocks. I cannot believe that happened. Whatever will I do to fix this problem? Let's just see if I have any iron in reserve. Oh, lucky I do. Who does see that one coming? And just like that, the whole of Haven was completed. Day 982, and there was just a handful of things that I wanted to do before the ending, like put a couple of walls around the hall, add a couple of lanterns there, put a couple of extra things in the Hall of Haven, those kind of things. And it was a bittersweet feeling on day 983 because this was the legitimate last thing that I was going to do. I made 4 maps one more time. I obviously recorded the map locations. I made the final map board and it was done. It doesn't even fit the monorail, by the way, which is kind of crazy. And I do know it is 17 days early, but I legitimately just was done. I didn't want to force anything out. I didn't want to add something that I wasn't going to like, so I was pretty happy to just wait until the end. But we're not done here. There's 2 more things we need to do. So for the last time, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce Dr. Havenhand. Last time I'll be here, eh? Well, don't be too sad, people. I'm sure I'll pop up in other videos when needed. For now, it is my final lesson of the Survival Island video, so pay attention, make note, this is going to be the final one. My final lesson to you is the seed of this world. But before I can give you that, let me just quickly take a nice little field trip. Does this place look familiar? No? Well, let me just fly up here. Now it definitely should. This is the island that I have survived 1,000 days on, or the thumbnails from every single video. Now, when I started here, I believed that there was no wood on the island, so I spawned in 1 bamboo to use the new wood to basically make a very unique experience on Survival Island. You can do that. Alternatively, you don't actually have to, because it turns out there is a sunken ship right off the side of the island here. You can use the wood from the sunken ship or go into the sunken ship and get the moss. Basically, I'm saying that if you want to use this world, you don't have to use the bamboo way that I did. I just did it because I didn't think I had any other access to wood. You can just use that. The final little note that I want to give about this world is that though it does work on both Java and Bedrock, there are slight differences. I've been playing in Java, so let me just quickly show you the Bedrock version. If you were to play in Bedrock, then you actually get a desert temple over here. It is worth mentioning though that if you do play in Bedrock, the shipwreck isn't there, which means you wouldn't actually have any access to wood, so good luck if you are wanting to do it that way. Back in the office, that's so much better, but that's enough jibber jabbering. Here is the seed. Now, I know some of you have been waiting a very long time to see this seed, so thank you so much for watching this entire series and waiting up until this moment. And I do have a favor to ask before you run off and play this world. If any of you decide to make content on this world, basically make a video or a series or something, do me a favor and leave @Havenhand in your YouTube description. It's not because I want the credit, I don't care about that, but basically when you put @Havenhand in your description, it will notify me on YouTube that you have made this series, and I would love to watch some of you guys' content on this world. The Havenhand Survival Island Challenge, which I'm going to dub it selfishly, was a really cool thing for me to do, and if you start with 1 bamboo or just a shipwreck, it was such a fun experience, and I'd love to see other people give it a try. So like I say, notify me on YouTube, leave that @Havenhand, it'd be really cool. Fair warning though, it is challenging. And that ends my final lesson. I thank you all so much for listening to the lessons that I've given you along the way. Sign us off, Haven. Sign us off. Day 999. We have 1 more day in this world. So I think now, of all times, would be the perfect time to do 1 last island tour. God, where do I even begin? The reason I've done this on 999, by the way, is I'm not even confident I'll be able to look at it all. So I guess we will start on the far side of the island and we will work our way forward. But there's a lot to get to here, so get comfy. You can watch the Haven tour one last time. Starting with the multiple islands, the jungle, the dark oak. You've obviously got the acacia, there's the oak. Cherry tree, of course. Over here you have our... I have a chest over here? Oh my god, I could have used some of this stuff. No, whatever. Potato chips skin is right here. Congratulations to him yet again. That pretty much is all of the islands. The grass over here didn't complete, which, I mean, to be fair, I've not really been over here that much, but it is still a bit of a surprise because I've stood around this island a bunch. It's very surprising it didn't fully grow out. But that's pretty much all the trees and everything. Obviously got Azalea Island, there's Spruce Tree Island, there's Birch Tree Island. I'm so disappointed I didn't get the mangrove tree for the record. I would have got every single one of them and that would have been really cool, but what will be, what will be. The minecart, I'll do that last because I feel like that's the best thing to do last, so we can have one last loop around. Over here we have some nice places. First of all, King Pedro. Oh my god, how long have I had you for? feels like an eternity since I had, you know, King Pedro come to my island and stay and own his little plot of land. The sniffers I got in the first, I was gonna say first 100 days, it was in like the 500 days, but they feel like they've been here forever now. I mean, kind of crazy. Villager Island, remember when there was all stuffed in this house and now they've got, look at how many iron golems they've got. What is this? There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's 39 golems in here, guys. Again, you ought to be safe. Oh, there's 40 there. What the hell? But yeah, this is I always thought I'd make this a little bit prettier at some point, but I just never really got the chance to do it. So, you know what? It does what it's supposed to do. Of course, you have Among Us in the corner over there. I still love that build. One of my favorite builds, I must say. Hello, Paxton. How you doing, buddy? It's really hard to get a good look at him, but I actually quite like the way he looks. I'm not gonna lie. I think it looks really cool. You have, of course, the map room. This is every map from day 600, when he was, you know, from 600, that's where we were, and then 700, and then 800, and then 900, and here's where we finished on day 1000. Look how much is on that island. Wait until I show you day 100 and just how little there was. I really wish I could get a map of just day 0. That'd be kind of cool, but like, look how much is on here. There's not like a space of land that is just free. It's kind of crazy. Over here, you've got the villager area with all the trades. I only ended up using it a couple of times, but it still was a useful get. Hello, Catland. How's it going? You know what? That logo, the cat, the way it's sort of set up, that's actually kind of grown on me quite a lot. I actually quite like it. Well, here's all 11 cats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep, all here. The black cat, I've looked into further, by the way. Incredibly lucky to get that one. It would have been absolutely, like, if I got 10 of the 11, I would have been like, yeah, that makes sense. This only spawns at midnight, and there's only like a 1 in, if I read correctly, like 1 in 50 chance of it being a midnight kind of thing. So I got very lucky that I spotted him the next day. Like, incredibly lucky. Obviously, you've got the melon farm, which probably could be chocker. Yeah, it's completely chocker. Yeah, there's loads of stuff in here. It's probably like backed up like crazy because I haven't touched it since I completed the melon castle. Actually, that's not true. I grabbed the bit to do some training, but that was still ages ago. You got the dragon statue. Yeah, I mean, there's not really much to say about it. I do think it's an upgrade to what it originally was. Oh, the to-do board. I never crossed this off. So the whole of Haven is gone. You know what? The Mangrove Island, it can stay there because it's the only thing I wasn't able to get done. It's unfortunate, but what can you do? Obviously, my giant person, my human. Now, I have noticed, and I imagine some people are going to comment here saying that the head is 1 block too forward. Like, do you remember how I did with Potato Chips' skin? How his head was 1 too far back, mine is 1 too far forward. It's just such an effort to, like, change it, though. It literally took me 20 minutes to fix Potato Chip. His face is really basic. Mine has the goggles and the mustache and those kind of things. It'd just be a real pain to fix it. Of course, you've got the melon castle. I didn't even end up going for the flags because I just didn't think I'd be able to get them. I mean, I definitely wasn't able to get the Oxide Daisy one, but the God Apple, in theory, I probably could have got. It was just a lot of effort to potentially find a third one, and trust me, I am very, very tired of doing all this stuff. This thing is the bane of my existence, so we'll ignore it. The Warden Monument to the Warden that I killed. The catalyst is still down there, protected, never to see the light of day. I guess it is because of the glass, but you get the point. I don't really show this, but as I'm running back, I'm just sat here silently, just waiting for like the next thing to do. You've got the maps. This is the day 100 map, by the way. I mean, if you ignore the Among Us, I accidentally took that out at one point, but there wasn't anything there apart from whatever this little thing is. It actually might be the bottom of the mob grinder, but again, it's fine. But like, look how little is there. You had my house, some farms, the bamboo. That was the pig. That red dot there, that was the pig step area. And I don't even know what that was. I don't even know what that is. Maybe it's the enchant setup? It probably is the enchant setup, actually. And 200 days I did I put... No, that's not right. That's definitely... Yeah, that's definitely wrong. Okay, 200 days is wrong. That's fantastic to look at. 300 days is definitely wrong. We know this. And so is 400 days. I'm really disappointed these maps are broken, by the way. 500 days is correct. But apparently 200 days is broken as well. I don't know how that's happened, but 200 days is also broken. So, isn't that fun? I don't know when that got broken. So the only working maps I have is day 100, day 500, and then obviously the ones that go up to 1k. But to be honest with you, this one being the free one is fine. And if I want, I can go through and get screenshots of every one of them and put them together, so that's fine. The auto cooker, I will show you, by the way. I still had so much cooking, like, stuff done, so I was never, ever going to have to refill. Like, this is 4 stacks of coal in there, so we were fine. We were good. The Tower of Haven, it goes all the way to Y320. I'm going to be honest with you. After this floor, there is nothing up there. There's absolutely nothing. Like, I could go through every flat. There's also that, which I kind of missed. There's just nothing. I just wanted to have it. I don't know why. I thought if I had enough time, I could, like, design each floor, but I just never got the chance to do that. So, of course, you have the skulls. Really happy I got all these. Especially this one. This one was a pain. But yeah, these were quite nice and easy to get, so that's cool. Very big fan of the boats. This one is much more basic than this one, but I still quite like this one. They definitely know what they're doing, so that's pretty cool. And the dock as well. I really like this feature of the island, I'm not going to lie. Oh, this thing. God, how much time did I put into this? But here is every single armor trimming that I can get, excluding mine, but I guess I could stand like that and look at that. Disappointed I couldn't get the rest of them, but you know what? The fact is I got these. I feel like it's really, really impressive considering where I started. You got the Nether Portal, which is a Nether Portal, and you got the lava thing, which was for the Strider, but the Strider obviously is gone. Dr. Havenhand's build, his home, his place, lovely little place for Dr. Havenhand. Yeah, he's now retired from this place. Good on him. The Pigsten dance area. Oh, it looks so much better, even though it kind of looks like the ISR run, but we move on. I'm only halfway done with the island. It's turning night. The axolotl, he's still, for some weird reason, he always like sits in this corner or one of the corners and just stays there forever. So, you know, go him. The enchant setup, I haven't touched that in forever design wise. This, I think I made in 200 days, and this has been, I've probably been in this building more than any other. This storage area has been fantastic for me. The little Among Us guy, didn't really do anything with him either, but you know, just to have him on the island is kind of cool. My semi-auto farm, oh god, this thing. Like I say, in future videos, I've made this so much better. But, like, it always worked. It always, like, it did exactly what I wanted it to do. I just had to replant it. But the cactus farm, I never even touched the cactus. It only ended up getting me, it didn't even give me 2 stacks in the end. So, you know, wasn't even that good. The bamboo farm, this thing, it's still got barely any bamboo in it in the grand scheme of things. But we're fine. The chicken thing, it did what I wanted to do, I guess. This thing is the greatest thing I've ever built in Minecraft. The iron farm has been spectacular for me. The sugarcane farm has also been pretty good. The creeper farm, oh, to be fair, there's fireball gunpowder in there now. So, you know, that's something. Multi-layered beacon, not too shabby if I do say so myself. Finally, the Hall of Haven. I'll go in there in a second. But for now, I think I need to sleep and, you know, do one last day. Because day 999 is about to end. We're about to hit the promised land. The day that I never thought I would reach when I started this. Here we go. Look at that day 99. It's right there. Wait for it. Wait for it. Day 1000. Well, I guess there's 2 less things to look at, and then we can finally end this once and for all. I didn't show too much of the Hall of Haven, just because, you know, there's not really too much to it. I just wanted to put down some cool statistics and everything that I did. What I have done is I've got these item frames, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put that gear and tools in there. We'll have the elytra and the bow. There you go. That's all the main stuff that I used. The armor, I just don't need it anymore. Oh, I'm still wearing the Dr. Havenhand skin. Ignore that. Ignore that, guys. It's not, guys. It's not Dr. Havenhand. It's cosplay, guys. It's cosplay. There you go. That's that. Some of the stats are pretty like when the episode started and when I got them uploaded, which is pretty cool. Some of them is like how long I've played, how many views and likes it's got. If you want to like look at all of them, you can maybe come onto this world, which I'll get to in a little bit. I am going to hold this here just in case. You never know what might sneak up on me. Look at me walking around naked. Again, ignore the cosplay, guys. It's just a cosplay. And that means there is only one last thing to do. One last thing to do. I guess 2 technically. Maybe even 3. You know what? We've got 3 last things to do. And then we can finally close off this chapter in our YouTube career. And that is to take the monorail all the way around. Again, I'm going to turn you down because you are very loud. Should work perfectly fine, but we can actually get an outside look of this island and just everything that I've done with it. I mean, this particular video has been going on for so long. Like, I'm finishing this and I'm confident it's going to take me 2-3 weeks to upload it. I mean, this is July 1st. Just to give you an idea, it's July 1st when I've finished recording. Uploading wise, I ain't got a clue. Sometime at the end of July, I assume. My entire backup of videos that I've had, whether it be the trimming video or the I had the circle video, AI, I had a bunch of different stuff in there, so now uploaded. So basically, after this video comes out, I don't have any 100 days recorded. So you know what? Give me a second for the next video, maybe. Please don't leave the channel just because this is over. I've got lots of stuff still planned, I guess, as we go around and look at all this. But, you know, I'm really actually happy that I added this of all things. I feel like this was a good addition to the island. You know what? I left my pickaxe. It's gonna be such a pain to get this off. You can see all the beacons in the sky. There's one. You can see what 6 beacons from here, which is kind of crazy to think about. I think when it comes down to day 1000, even though the final, 15 days, I barely did anything. I pretty much just stood around and waited. I still think that I did everything that I wanted to do in this world and more. I thought this was going to be a one-off 100 days video, call it a day, and then move on to the next series. And instead, it's the most popular video on my channel by far. It's not even close. Like, the second most viewed video was Skyblock. It had like 1.8 million, and I'm like, there's no video that will ever catch up to that. And now, Skyblock is setting about 1 million views behind 1.20 Survival Island. That's kind of cool. So I hope you liked the tour. That was everything that I did, which gets me to the last two things that I want to do. You need to find a good spot here, a good quiet spot. And that is, I want to say a couple of thank yous. The first person I want to thank is my good editor, Graymond. When I decided to go to 1000, it wasn't possible for me to do. It was too much work. And so I got in touch with Graymond, who used to edit for me, and I was like, great, I can't do this. Can I rehire you just for this little period to do this? And they, with open arms, just like, yeah, let's do this. And the amount of work that they have put in is crazy. So Gray, thank you so much for all your help. If you want to say something or put something on screen now, you're more than welcome to. Please go check out Graymond on Twitch, twitch.tv/Grayscaped. I will leave a link in the description, so please go check them out. When they do stream, they are a really good streamer. Just no promises when they do stream, because, spoiler alert, it's not very often. Gray's definitely going to roast me for that one. Also, maybe check out my streams, because I would like to do some more streaming in the near future. So, but both of them will be in the description, but Gray should be the priority, because the amount of work that Gray has done in the past, oh god, couple of months is outrageous. So, you know, Gray, I know you'll watch this. I really appreciate all you've done. Thank you so much for your help, Gray. And the viewer, you, in 2023, I made a big change to my life. This became my full-time job, and the support that I've got in 2023 alone has been sensational. And this is the series that's done it. So seriously, if you started on day 100 and you are now watching this moment, I thank you, because just watching the videos is enough for me to get paid. No, it supports the channel a lot, whether you liked or comment or anything. Even if you've got annoyed about golden apples or azalea trees or how the island looks like India or there's no crops but there was sugar, you know, whether you liked it or not, it was still a really good series for me to make. And that pretty much ends off that. I guess there's only one last thing to do on this island, and then we can maybe go watch something else. And that, of course, is to dance with some pig step. Remember when I did this all the time ago? Wait for it. Dun, 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 dun. Seriously, everybody, thank you so much for watching and supporting the series. There's still so much more to come, even though this series is coming to an end. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. And yeah, here's the 200k. Oh, by the way, last thing I completely forgot to mention. Do you want the world download? Do you want to look around Haven Survival Island 1.20 video? I'm gonna ask for something outrageous. 20,000 likes, I'll release a video downloading the world and everything you need to know about it. Yeah, all right then. Let's log out.